recording. Oh yeah, he's got it now. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin.
I'm so sorry. Almost.
I didn't know whether you wanted to record, Anthony.
No, I'm sorry. I know we were having tech issues. We never got around to that. Rod, please continue. My apologies.
No problem. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, so great that this meeting is dedicated to women in magic. So June Horowitz, of course, one of the first presidents of the IBM, and she's done so much, and she's so looked up upon. And then following her was Joan Caesar, of course, president of the IBM, but also president of Canadian Association of Magicians, and also involved in FISM. So, and then with the SAM too, we had a number of women presidents of the SAM, including Maria Epinas and Jan Weir Goodsell. And there was another, the first president, a woman president also was part of the SAM. So great, and I hope you have a good conversation, because I think this is so important. So I just want to say hello from Atlanta, Georgia, and have a good meeting. So I'm just gonna head out now. So nice to see you all.
Thank you, Rod. Do me a favor. Would you give a big hug to Carol, because her birthday's coming up in a couple of days. Dan's wife, you know who Carol is, right? Yeah. Carol Garrett, her birthday, her birthday's coming up soon.
Oh yes, that's right. I actually saw her. She was in the lobby, and I'll tell her. I don't know, might not get to see her again, but she actually is having her big 70th birthday. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you stay at the bar long enough, and you will see her. I promise.
Oh, okay. Yes. Right.
and of course, the Martini Meister himself, longtime pal of me and many of us, Scott Wells.
Scott Wells is there. Yeah.
I know. Don't bother to hug him. Get him to pour you a martini.
Okay, I'll do that.
Well, just before you go, and Kevin will talk about it a little bit more. He's going to be guesting on one of Kevin's open magic nights, and then he's going to be on Tommy's show. And I'm in touch with Banachek, and because Kevin asked me, and we're going to have a little clip, etc. So it's going to be fun. Anyway, Kevin will tell you all about that in good time, and we'll post it on it.
Don't mention Banachek to
Scott. No, he's not supposed to know. Yeah.
We're hoping to have a little surprise clip for him.
Okay, I won't say anything.
On Wednesday.
Yeah. Rod,
all right,
enjoy, and when you see Billy again, because I know you guys are hanging out.
Oh, Billy Byron, yes. He was
not Billy Byron. I'm on talking about the other
actually.
Billy, your fellow Canadian, who is now president.
Oh, Billy Sway.
Yeah, he's president 5 p.m. Tell him that I've already made him an honorary member of our international assembly. All he needs to do is to say yes and join the group.
Okay.
I've written to him, we've chatted, and I told him, and he went, "Oh wow, great, yeah." But he hasn't got round to. Well, I think he's been a little bit busy, you might say.
Okay, yeah, of course, yeah, he's got so much to do. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. No, he's being honored here. So yes, definitely. I'll let him know. Thank you, Anthony.
Not at all. Thank you, Rod, and I appreciate you taking the time to come by. Thanks.
My pleasure to see all of you. Yeah, thank you. Nice to see everyone there.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. See you. Bye.
So a very, very good evening, and buonasera a tutti. Oh, I've done all that to everybody. Lovely to, let me just acknowledge a few people here before we get really cracking. Let me go over to the gallery. Oh, okay, let me see. Oh, of course, yes, you are up there and not in France. So, Isabelle, mademoiselle, bonjour, not bonsoir.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. Ça va?
Ça va très bien. Doing very well.
Good. And we have from Las Vegas, my long lost brother from a different mother, the one and only Mindweek. If you don't recognize him, he's not wearing his gear. James, of course, from our assembly, and dear Rabina from San Antonio in Texas. Stephen, of course, from his Florida home. Michael Kelly, our Manx wizard, of course, who is about to get himself involved in green slime, I understand. The one and only, he was our assembly envoy, by the way, for the Isle of Man. And speaking of assembly envoys, the legendary Mr. Tommy Burnett, who sometimes don't know nothing. Other times he knows stuff.
Hello, Ashley.
Yeah, lovely Keith Payne from the UK, who I've run into once or twice at the Magic Circle, and he is still to buy me a drink. But we'll put that right, Keith. We'll put that right. Robina from San Antone, James. Who else? Oh, legendary gentleman also from Illinois. Not his fault. That's just where he ended up. Other than that, he's a very, very cool guy, and that is Mr. Mark Carlin, who is the chair of the Paranormal Investigation Committee for the SAM. There's a couple of people here already members, myself, Michael, Kelly, Isabel, of course, and James, and indeed our first VP. God damn it, damn Canadians are everywhere. Yeah, our first VP, our Canadian Assembly envoy, secretary, and soon to get an appointment. In a couple of weeks' time, we'll tell you what that's all about. Can't say more now. And of course, the great presenter on our Magic News Monthly, which you've seen, which is another production of our International Assembly. So he does a great job. I just do the script and visuals and stuff and get it over to Michael, and he does all the real hard work and then presents it. Just amazing. Hi to Andrew. And before we get caught up in stuff, I just wanted to say, because sometimes these things happen when you're having fun, a huge thank you to our Assembly Envoy for England, another legend. No, really, he is a legend. He does an amazing stuff. He's got things coming up for the Magic Circle, does things for our International Assembly, and what else? Oh, gosh, he opened Magic Night and occasionally even plays cricket. So big thank you to Kevin Peel putting all this together. Now, I can't actually go to the... Oh, who else have I got? Oh, I've just seen him. Current most illustrious for the next few days, Tom Gentile, he's here. And last but not least, Peter Stevens, who always rides shotgun for us on these things, and I dare say he'll be doing the same again, keeping naughty people out. And last but not least, a very nice lady I've had the pleasure of meeting via communication, but kind of in person today, and sitting in her Formula One at Brands Hatch at the moment, because she's got nothing better to do, is Lisa Barber. So cheers and welcome, Lisa. And if you can all give her a nice round of Zoom applause or put the clapping on, I'm delighted to tell you, as of a few hours ago, she is officially a member of our SAM International Assembly as well. So there, welcome.
Thank you.
So I think this comes a time for me to just be a little bit quiet and just kind of having introduced Lisa, just say a few words and then let her talk about what she's doing in relation to women and magic. Now, you've all noticed how I phrase that. I didn't say women in magic, women and magic. The other way I phrase it is the role of women in magic. I absolutely professionally and personally dislike the term just women in magic. Why don't we just talk about, males in magic or, left-handed people in magic? What the hell's the difference, right? Seriously, right? So it almost sounds kind of misogynistic to go, women in magic. So what? Women have been in magic for centuries. Trust me, I've done a lot of work on this on behalf of somebody else. There's been queens of Belgium who have been magicians. I've got a ton of stuff on it. Iona, if you go and look her up, I mean, amazing, way before. And of course, I just simply have to. And if I'm pushed, I'll tell you the story a bit later. Have to mention blessings for her memory, respect RIP, and that is dear, lovely, beautiful, wonderful, amazing Celeste Evans. Absolutely love that lady. And it was joyous to spend time with her. And if you watch the post, I put a couple of pictures on there about her. So I think basically we'll just get Lisa to chill out, pour yourself whatever. If you've got, a Romeo and Juliet and you don't set fire to the house, light it up. Hey, George Smith here. Hey, good to see you, George. So Lisa, can I just turn it over to you to just kind of chill out, tell us what you're doing, and we'll take it from there. You take it from there. Yeah. Cheers.
Right. So I've decided to do a thesis on like women and magic and just getting everyone's point of view, because it is so varied on the the different views everyone has, men and women. And I've noticed from what I've gathered so far that it seems men feel that there's a slightly more difference than the women do. And I don't know if I've spoken to the right women, but I feel that a lot of women feel that it's now near enough equal, but the men are like, no, it's definitely not equal. So yeah, just jumped on ready to see if anyone wants to give their point of view or any experiences or anything like that. That's probably not enough, but yeah, I'm kind of stuck because I had loads sort of written down in that, and then as I say, I've got stranded, so I'm in a car park, so I've managed to just go in the shop, buy a pad and a pen and like paper and like pen, and I'm like, oh, stuck in my car. But
you had a couple of questions, I think, which you asked on the members page of the Magic Circle. Can you recall any of those? And
I have got them.
Maybe you could ask them, and folks would like to raise their hand and answer them.
That would be cool. I have got them on my phone. Okay. So the first one was, if there are any, what do you think are the major challenges that women face, like women magicians face? If anyone wants to answer.
Okay. Anybody raise it? Oh, Tom, you got your hand raised. Oh, actually, folks, it'd be better if you could just click the hand raise function on Zoom, because that's much easier to spot for Kevin. But anyway, I think we spotted Tom. So go ahead, Tom.
I think a lot of it is the outfits, that traditionally the outfit kept people away, kept magicians from putting things in pockets. Magicians that females have dresses traditionally there weren't pockets. Iona, Celeste, they really conquered a lot of that. The types of props they can get away with. I know Arian Black has a lot of things re-engineered in order to keep different props placed in special places. Some of the other ones like Jen Kramer, they are all out there really being amazingly creative in how they approach magic with a different type of prop, having it with a story. So I think that was the biggest challenge along the way, because when you were taught as a magician how to, okay, now you put it in your pocket, and you will hear stories of little girls who are in the SYM saying, I didn't have any pockets. So that kept me away from magic that was just an out and out barrier right there, right from the start. So until they started getting creative and where to put the props, the type of magic, those were the challenges for many, many years.
I think one of the names that, you mentioned some very good names there, Tom. And I think at the top of that list, and the person who led the way, dear Celeste, because she did the whole Rita Hayworth thing in those gowns, and I posted a picture of it.
Talk about misdirection.
Right. And in those gowns, they were very carefully sewn in pockets. And we're all magicians here. So, that's where the doves win. So I actually physically saw that dress when another dear longtime friend of mine, some of you folks in Texas would have probably definitely heard of her, and that is Cherie Kay. So just before Celeste passed, she gave one of those dresses to Cherie. Cherie has passed. She was in Houston, and some of you will know it's where I spent a lot of time. And Cherie showed me that dress, and it's the most incredible thinking of how that dress was put together to hold doves and, shall we say, other objects. So that to me, I think since she repassed, I'm not sure, I'll have to check this with Ivana, Celeste's daughter, but I think it went back to Ivana and she still got it. But one of the things that Celeste was absolutely adamant on, well before she passed, she retired, obviously, was, not to kind of reveal the secrets about it, other than in general terms. So I don't know if that's something you might want to make a note of, Lisa, that Tom brought up about the pockets and, how that works. And the other person I have to mention most definitely, which some of you folks will know, she's known internationally, but hangs out at the circle, and that's Faye Presto. I mean, she does a 45-minute act just in what she's wearing.
Yes.
And there's things in the pockets. I'm not revealing any secrets. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, well, I'm sorry that you don't. But that whole champagne bottle going through, the table, everything is done from her pockets. That's it. That's it.
And now you got Lucy Darling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's right up, modern times, because Carissa has gone really wonderful. And then another member of our assembly who is also at the circle, and that's Sylvia Scepter, aka Karina Fenton. She does a lot of interesting work just from, having stuff in the pockets. You mentioned Ariane, who she and I go back, since Noah built the Ark, and that bolero jacket. When I kind of insisted we use that picture when I wrote the feature on her for MUM on the cover, that whole bolero jacket, when you look at it and the way it fits her, you can't, there's no way that's got anything in it. Now, if you're a guy, try this, okay? I don't mean a bolero jacket, but just any kind of jacket. And put like a pack of cigarettes or your cell phone or something in there and stand in front of a mirror, and I guarantee you that'll budge. That bolero jacket of hers, this is like, really attention to tailoring. And that's what it's about. So I think this is an important aspect, as Tom has rightly brought up, about ladies who perform magic. I prefer phrasing it that way. Anything else to me sounds misogynistic. It really does. And I don't have any time for misogynistic remarks.
I would like to include Romany in their
yes.
group.
Yes. Romany, you're right, Tommy, but her act is more sort of, she does a bit of close-up, obviously, but her act is more sort of theatrical with the plumes, and I've seen her live, and she's guested on my talk shows, etc., etc. But you're right.
Burlesque meets magic, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Romany's burlesque meets magic.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And there's a new street busker that lectured at IBM this weekend was
Gwen Orger.
No, Alex Hilsby.
Alice Hilsby.
Yeah,
Alice Hilsby. She's great. Yeah, I had her on my.
So talented.
Yeah, I had her on my podcast last year. She's tremendous.
I'll tell you who's pretty good with pocket management as well. I mean, she's pretty great, kind of visually on stage, TV, and all that kind of stuff, and live. She's been a guest on the Darkstone dossiers with Megan, and then on her own and on the gala show. If you all don't know what we're talking about, I'll tell you later. But Catherine Rhodes, Catherine does some remarkable pocket magic. Not that she's loading anything. I mean, all she's got is a Sharpie and a piece of paper or a pad, because she does astounding. I prefer the term mind magic because I don't know what mentalism means. It's just a category in FISM as far as I'm concerned. I prefer the term mind magic. But, that's just me. Fine, okay, don't have to agree with me, but that's what Catherine does.
And Juliana Chen, she comes out with a very sleek outfit.
Yep.
And she's full of stuff.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, they've got it. These Canadians are pretty good at stuff, Tom.
Anthony, Mark has been being very, very patient, but he had his hand up before.
Oh, did he? Oh, I'm so sorry.
people.
Mark,
And I've got him in the group there with you.
Our esteemed PIC chairman, sir.
Going back to the question as to women, magic, I think part of the problem is good role or mentors. I mean, we've talked about a lot of good role models, but a local mentor would be great because they understand what the younger generation is going to have to go through to do it. And I really don't want to suggest a subset in an organization, but a young female person's group that has a female mentor, whether they get together like once every couple months or something like that, so they can cover the challenges of doing magic as a female. And I'm going to say something wrong, and I apologize now when I do it because I'm not using the correct terminology. But I really think a good mentorship in some way, shape, or form through the organizations or something like, or, you know, willing to help would be great, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's a great opinion, Mark, and thank you for voicing it, because also, thank you very much. I hate you because I'm now out of a job because you've read my mind. That's
that mental magic.
It is. Oh man, it's this friggin' Illinois stuff. You know, really, they don't drink it times. No, but seriously, what we're going to do is just real quickly before we go to the next person. This is something I've been conversing with Isabel about, mentoring in general, and then bringing it down. Pretty much what you said, Mark. And this is one of the things we have planned through the SAM International Assembly, which you'll remember, of course. The idea behind that is to also create more, to welcome more female magicians. Rod's theme, as we all know, is we welcome the world. And, you know, if they're nowhere near an assembly in whichever country or in the States, then that's the assembly to be at. And one of the things down the line of the projects, and I've spoken with Rod as well about it, and he loved it. It's something we wanted to do when Joel was president. I mooted the idea, but because of COVID and other things going on, but now it's kind of opening up a little bit more. And yes, great idea. You know, I'm talking with Isabel and a couple of other ladies on it, and within the assembly to kind of get that and perspectives from a female viewpoint. It doesn't matter how good a mentor you are, if you've never actually worn and performed in, shall we say, female costume, you're never going to know. You can be a great mentor, yes? You can look. The best you can do is like a great photographer, like David Macy, who knows how to photograph women. I'm not being misogynistic. He actually understands how to shoot the female form. So yeah, that's it. Robina, I think, Kevin, is that right?
Hello, yeah, we've got Andrew and Michael ahead of them.
Yeah. Well,
before I bring in Michael, Andrew first, then Michael. Before they bring in, as you're aware, I interviewed Megan last week on my show. Megan Swan, obviously, on my show last week. And she said a very interesting thing, was I brought this topic up, and she said, really, we should be talking about magicians. We shouldn't be even mentioning gender. We're all just magicians. And we want to get past the stereotype of the gender thing.
Yeah.
And she said it was a very hard task when she first joined the Young Magicians Club. She was the only girl in 70 boys.
Yeah.
If another girl hadn't joined, which luckily did, she might even have dropped out at that early stage.
And Kayla Dresser, same way. And
you're so right, Kevin, because Back in the day, I was at the Circle and I filmed some interviews for TV, etc. And one of the people I have, and I have a clip of it on YouTube somewhere. I'll have to get my good buddy Mark's help on that, because Mark in Vegas always helps us out. As you know, he edits all the gala shows, etc. With Mandy Davis, and she was talking about that very thing, about how girls get into magic and how boys get into magic, and that was kind of quite important. And as I was kind of saying earlier on, you know, why do we have this? Male magicians, female magicians. What's next? Left-handed magicians? You know, there's no need for the distinction, except one time at Dave & Buster's in Houston, the resident magician, without going into long-winded details, got fired for doing some not so very nice things. They then had a policy that they wouldn't bring another male in ever. And that's when Cherie Kay, my friend I referred to earlier on, got the gig as the residency at Dave & Buster's. So that's one of those instances where gender matters, because they went, don't want another guy in here near the kids or anything, right? It's got to be a female. So yeah, sometimes corporations make that choice. Also, if there's, you know, corporate work, which some of us probably do more than others, myself obviously, I'm not going to get hired if it's Victoria's Secrets or lingerie company. More than likely, they're going to have the female at the exhibition or in the shop or whatever lingerie company it might be, because that's when I think gender matters, because of the type of product. Yeah. Oh, Isabel is
so we've got
nodding
Andrew.
away.
Andrew was the next with a hand up.
Okay.
If you're going back into sort of semi-history, the first sort of major female magician, other than the two that were members of our local club, was Lisa Menner, who was on the Best of Magic, who's still about doing close magic and stand-up. But back, if you go back further back in history, not in this country that I can remember, but you've got Susie Wanders, who was quite popular around probably the 50s. I've forgotten the name of her husband. It's gone straight out of my head. I got it on my tongue. You also got Del O'Dell, was quite a big in the States. Unfortunately, sort of in the UK, there were using the term female magicians that I saw as I sort of came through my career in magic through attending the British Ring IBM conventions, because there was always ladies there, and those ladies competed in the competitions. You've got Del O'Dell and also Adelaide Herman, going back even further.
Yes,
who took over her husband's act and toured.
Then you had Dr. Billy's wife, of course, who was this absolutely glamorous, fantastic looking lady. I mean, I'm not being misogynistic. I'm just saying, you know, wow, she just looked great in fishnet tights and stuff like that. And that was part of it. She was selling glamour, like Marilyn Monroe, Rita Hayworth sold glamour. That's why she was getting booked, because she looked good. Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. But she got booked. I mean, so that's a good thing. Made money. June Merlin, yeah, Dr. Billy's wife.
I remember the British Ring, but like I say, within the British Ring, there are quite a few using the ladies in magic.
Elizabeth Warlock back in the day.
Warlock, yeah. There's quite a few that were partners to the husbands in main acts, but also had their own acts as well.
Yeah.
So there has been, in my opinion, in sort of the IBM types way, I've seen there's been sort of more female magicians in the UK that way, but sort of haven't spread onto the wider circuit.
Well, back in the day, as Michael Likey has just rightly put up, we had I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
there have been role models for people to go in there, because we used to have the ladies competition and the ladies trophy in the British ring, and I know quite a few. And my ex-partner was a very, well, still is a good magician, even though she doesn't do it anymore. And so she's always fought against sort of male stereotypes in bizarre. And Michael knows my ex-partner.
Yeah.
But also found out there's a saying that she does escapology as well, and she's at the sad point that she's left the escapology group because she was getting untowards comments, sexist comments, which is all that you don't really need. Female escapology in a small it's the same as magic. You've got to fight to get in there.
Well, forgive me for jumping in here, but as Lisa's making notes, you said something which kind of went ding in my head, and hopefully would be of some help to Lisa for her thesis. And that is, we males in magic, it's not enough to say, well, you know, I'm not against ladies or women doing magic. It's not enough, in my view. You have to be more proactive and stop exactly the kind of thing that your partner went through. Mm. There is no reason on this planet why anyone, irrespective of their gender, sexual orientation, whatever, for goodness sakes, the Magic Circle, the IBM, and the SAM have a strict diversity policy. So, you know, you can't be hypocritical and say I'm a member of these organizations or one of them and not follow that. This is, your partner's not the first one I've heard of who's just kind of, I can't stand it, like the abuse. And worse yet, I was talking to Luna Shimada yesterday about something totally different. She couldn't make it today because she's gigging. And she was actually saying to me, you know, some of the people she's mentored, the girls, etc., 2022, and they're still getting this, yeah, well, you were a girl, or yeah, that was rubbish, you know, that was no good, that was crap. Why? You wouldn't talk to another guy like that. Why not? He'd punch you on the nose more than likely. You know? So it is bullying in a form, and I think that
but where the strange thing is, I mean, Kevin will probably know this. Anybody who's in the UK, there's a big campaign now about sexism that's been run, and it's been harsh. But I find that most of it, if it from males, especially sort of probably not my age, or probably my age, and the younger ones, it's the way they've been indoctrinated through their own parents and peer pressure.
Yes, sadly, and this is why I'm saying, you know,
so it doesn't matter what club or whether it's magic or cookery or whatever, you'll find the same sort of thing. Which is out.
So I think we have to step up to the plate as males if we're discussing gender or LGBT or whatever form it is, if you're left-handed, whatever, and just nip it in the bud. If you see it in your club, if you see it in a conversation, if you see it somewhere, to say, no, listen, that really is not right. Just stop. Because sometimes these comments, I was going to use the word subtle, that perhaps surreptitious would be a better word, you know, that they're done in a way like it's kind of passive aggressive, and you know, dude, you don't have the cojones to come right out and say it. You're kind of disguising it, you know, kind of. Why don't you just come out and say it, you know, or whatever, and be shut down in flames? And most of us belong to varying degrees of good to bad to wretched magic pages on FB, and to see and read some of the things on there, it's just, you know, what? This is 2022. So yeah, all very, very good points. I wonder if we can, I don't know, Lisa, can we get your views on what some of us have been saying so far? Because I think it's important to know what you're
Yeah.
thinking.
But before you pass over
Okay.
to Lisa, can I just say it's very interesting. As moderator here, I'm sort of listening to everyone very carefully and watching all the comments, etc. And we are all falling into the same trap. We're all falling into, let's flag this woman up as a good magician and this woman up as a good magician. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be saying, you know, Paul Daniels, Dorothy Dietrich, etc., etc. We shouldn't be highlighting specific women and saying they're great magicians. We should be saying magicians are great and these are a list of great magicians. Yeah, so I know it's a difficult situation to get into, but I think we need to be in that position at some time.
A wonderful, wonderful point, Kevin, and I'm so glad you've made it. I think this is where we're all aspiring to. I think it'd be foolish to say that we're there. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. As Michael, our first VP from the SAM International, has said, he put up a name, and other people, I've noticed, have done that too. Melinda, First Lady of Magic. I mean, that was totally hyped in Vegas when she first came on the scene. What are we talking about? 20 years ago? Yeah, it was hyped up to the point where she was having an affair or married to Lance and all that kind of stuff. But that's show business. That's what you do, and it was fine. And then of course, the fact she was Bonnie Sachs's daughter, and Bonnie ran all the magic shows in Vegas, helped a little bit, shall we say? But yeah, she went up there and she was billed at that. Now, don't quote me on this, because this is just bar talk. Okay. Don't quote me on it. I have no facts to back it up. It's part of the reason why she got out of it. So I'm told. Like I said, it's bar talk, okay? I can't put my hand on heart and say it, but she got to a point where she just couldn't stand this friggin' hype and, just being eye candy that did tricks. They had a show 20 years ago. Most of you will know him as Steve Daly, and then little Antonio Hoyos. Frank Zach, some of you guys will know who that is. He was on Darkstone, long time pals for well over 20 years. They comped us to go to Showgirls of Magic. How is this relevant to what Kevin is saying? It is very relevant, and something I think, Lisa, you may want to jot a note on. What you do with it, I don't know, but I think you should put it down. They will have a matinee show called Showgirls of Magic, with the usual, eye candy and Las Vegas showgirls, wearing skimpy costumes, and they would do the most basic of magic illusions. Yeah, it was fine. It was a great show. And Steve was the middle act who'd come on as Bonnie, and drag and whatever. The 9 o'clock show was identical, the same performers, but they did it all topless. This is Vegas. Guess which ones sold the most tickets?
Oh, the late one.
Right, the late show. Right. Now, business, commercial, why are the girls exploited? Were they not exploited? I say girls, and I mean that affectionately, okay? Not in a bad term. Whatever. They refer to themselves as girls, and that's fine. So, sorry, it's producer parlance. I don't mean it badly when I refer to someone as the girls, right? It's just short for showgirls. It's just one of those things, So what do? They sold a ton of tickets for the topless show. Same show, exactly. Everything is identical. Nothing changed. Only this one, same costumes, it just didn't have a top on. That's it. But it's Vegas, and it's part of what happens or used to happen, still does, but in a different way. So I don't know how to comment on that. I really don't. I'm just saying what happened. Did I go to both shows? Yes. Did I buy a ticket? No. Fortunately, I got comped on that, so it didn't matter in a way. But I noticed the difference between the afternoon show, the matinee, as it's called, and then the evening show. I mean, it's just packed. Not just with old guys wanting to see topless girls, but there were couples and women and everybody in the audience. It was a totally mixed audience.
It would have been interesting if the two shows had been identical, and then you'd have a real way of knowing whether it's just because a lot of people preferred to go to an evening show
Yeah.
And then you would have been able to say, look, this part of the audience is obviously there just to ogle, and this part of the audience is there because they wanted to enjoy a show.
Good point there, Kevin. But here's this weird thing. I mean, topless girls doing magic in Vegas is no really big deal compared to some of the other things that you see in other clubs and other acts in Vegas. Okay, I'll leave that to your imagination. Shall we just say some of the acts would rival some of the places in Amsterdam? But that's Vegas. That's what they do. Okay, and I'm not here to judge or pass judgment on anyone. I can't. Not my business. But a good point you've made. What would happen if the 3 o'clock show was topless as the 9 o'clock show? I presume, again, it's a presumption, knowing what I know about Vegas, the 9 o'clock show, people have dinner, they wander around the machines. And like most of us know, nobody cares what you do in Vegas. You can chop your head off, kick it around the stage and put it back on again. Nobody's going to book you. The only way the casinos would book you is if you stood there, and I'm sorry to be a little bit gross, picking your nose on stage. And if they could fill it, they'd book you. Their object is not to do with talent. They have one objective, and that is to get as many people as possible going through those doors so that they hit the machines and the tables. That's it. Yeah, that's it. So again, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying, what it is, and leave it for other folks to kind of comment. Yeah. Kevin, who else is next, sir?
Yes, we've got Michael next. But before that, I'll just read you something George has posted. It's not at least somewhat telling in a conversation about women in magic, and only male magicians have had input so far. Well, we've got Isabel coming up. Hopefully, we'll
yeah, definitely.
And obviously,
definitely.
Lisa is going to.
Yeah.
And before we bring in Michael, it might be a good idea for Lisa to give us some feedback on this.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, it's all really good points, but that comment that was just made, in fact, one of the reasons I put a post out on the Magic Circle is because I'm a member of 3 other groups, and no women wanted to sort of help. Like, every time I sent out, because I've been to like Blackpool Magic Convention, I've got quite a lot of female magicians on my Facebook group, and every single one I messaged, I was like, yeah, I'll get back to you. And I just thought, well, I'm trying to find out why there's less magicians. That's the whole point of it, really, is to find out why, it seems to be more male orientated, but women aren't as, not saying that, Isabella, I don't know you. Sorry. But I found that I've struggled until I put the post up, and then a few more women stepped forward, but I've got far more input from male magicians that want to help and have said, look, any more, and I can help you, just get in touch. And I did actually wonder myself, I said it to another group of magicians, like, is that the problem? Is women the problem? Is it the fact that it's been so male orientated for so many years that, that the women that did come in, like in the 80s, 90s, have struggled to get the secrets, and they think, well, I'll be damned if I'm just going to give them out to the next woman that walks along when I had to work so hard. I don't know. It just seems that I do seem to have like a bit of a stonewall when it comes to a lot of the women with magic. So that's like quite a interesting one.
I have come across this, and I have heard it from what I refer to as my sister friends in magic. And I've been around quite a while, and I got to know a lot of them, fairly close. And like I said, I refer to pretty much all of them as sister friends. And sometimes, because it's showbiz, I think there is a tendency for women in showbiz, as opposed to any other form of activity, to sort of clash with each other. They tend not to want to help each other. Yours was a case in point. You approached a lot of your friends, you've done all of these things, Lisa, and they were like, yeah, I'll get back to you. What is it? What causes it? I don't know. I wish I did. I have no idea. But it exists. And I've heard this along the years from people. I mean, I've heard things like, oh my God, I've actually had one, no names, no pact rules. When I talked to her, fairly well known internationally, about joining the SAM International Assembly said, "Oh, I see that such and such are in it." And I said, "Well, yes, they are." And she says, "Don't want to have anything to do with it." I said, "What?" No, it's a conversation. It's not just email messages. She just don't want to know. You're going to have to explain that to me. And she said, "No, just don't want to know. I don't want to be anywhere where they're involved." And I said, "Well, that's kind of cutting your nose off to spite your face, isn't it?" She said, "Well, maybe it is, but I'll cut my nose off anyway." So I have no answer for that. I don't know. I don't know why sometimes women do that with each other. There is a word in the vernacular for it, which is female dog. I'll give you all a second. Yes, okay, you got it. Maybe that's it, towards each other. But that happens in showbiz, and worse off in magic. The story I just recounted is absolutely true. I'm not making it up. Till this day, I mean, we're good friends. We're good friends, great friends, in fact. But I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I've never had one single person of the other gender come to me and say, well, actually, I have. Somebody said, "Well, I don't like him," and whatever. And I went, "Hey, listen, it's your choice. I'm not holding a gun to your head." And they went, "Oh, well, okay, seeing as you've asked Anthony, yeah, I'll join." Oh, well, okay, great. Because I'm not taking sides. I cannot, as a president or, a representative of this much bigger organization, which is the SAM. I can't be seen to be biased. I just can't. I mean, if I don't like somebody, that's got nothing to do with it. It's very unprofessional. Professional is fine. We've all done this. We've all been out on a gig. You can't stand the person you're on the bill with for whatever reason. You don't go near them in the green room or have a drink later. But you go there, you do your thing, and walk away. That's it. Yep, Kevin, please. Yep.
Yeah, James has made a very good point there. He said, "Sad, it's a fear of competition, and in a minority, I can see that as being important."
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't we bring in Robina and?
Well, we got Michael was next.
Oh, okay.
And then I've jumped the queue with Isabel, so she's after Michael.
Sorry.
Okay, whatever. I'll leave you to.
So Michael, do you want us to do your?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say I agree absolutely with Kevin that we shouldn't really, ideally, think in terms of male magicians and female magicians. We're magicians, and every one of us really needs to be an absolute individual. Not the same as any of the others, let alone, I mean, I'm a male magician, but I shouldn't be just like the male magicians. Otherwise, what am I doing it for? But one of the things I've observed, let me just digress a minute. Some of my favorite books are Terry Pratchett's novels. They're a series of fantasy novels. There's a Wizards Guild in there, and they don't allow women to join. And he explains that the reason that the wizards don't allow women to join is because they know that the women will be better than them if they let them in. And you know what? When I look at some of the women that I've seen in magic, that's true. I don't know if it's because it seems to be very much a boys' club, so they've got to have that extra something to really push themselves to get in there in the first place. After I started really doing magic properly, one of the first magicians I saw perform was Karina, Sylvia Scepter. And I think it was one of her first performances as that character. And it was so imaginative, so powerful, so charismatic, because she used her imagination. She put so much into it. It was incredible. And the same is true now with Isabel, who's going to be speaking soon. She's come on to Tommy's and Kevin's shows, and there's so much imagination and theatre goes into it. It's much more than doing a magic trick. So really, us guys want to be learning from them. We want to be using our imaginations like that. We want to be using that same sort of vision to produce something that's absolutely unique and different and theatrical and artistic, where we're pulling upon every faculty that we've got to not only do something with our hands or to tell a story, to be absolutely charismatic, and to carry the audience along. So there's a lot for male magicians to learn here. Maybe it's too easy for us to just put on our clothes and, hey, we've got pockets. We can just read these instructions and do the trick as described. We don't have to add anything else to it. We can just recite the script as it stands. It's not us. We have to really project ourselves in the way that some of these tremendous examples are as well. And that's the challenge.
It's a good challenge, Michael.
Yeah.
And as you were rightly saying, I mean, there are certain things, whether in magic or showbiz in general, and especially in, the movies and TV series, etc., where you require the two genders. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Any reasonable mind will kind of go, well, okay, you can't show a guy giving birth if it's part of the story or something like that. So there has to be it. But when we come specifically into magic, there may be certain kinds of magic that wouldn't come across as well without a certain, shall we say, female touch or a femme fatale touch. Because that femme fatale sometimes in magic is also very, very good. And that can be used to create powerful magic. A good example of that back in the day was Trixie Bond. Now, she was Charlie's daughter, but she kind of, it's in her DNA, obviously, but she kind of like just did it. And Celeste just kind of used that whole femme fatale. There was, as far as I know, there was nothing I could. Well, yes, of course, there's plenty of things you can learn from Celeste. Stagecraft, movement, whatever. Lots of those things. So yes, in that sense, you're right. I'm not going to tell the story now because a lot of people want to talk. But if someone pushes me, I'll tell you the story about Celeste and me in handcuffs and a night in Dallas. Wait, that came out wrong. I'll tell you about that. Yeah, okay. Sorry, somebody else, Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah, I took some notes. Well, first of all, I'm still at the magic school. I'm attending a magic school in Quebec, in Montreal. And I'm the only girl in my class, was expected. And I quickly realized that a lot of the props we're using are not made for my tiny hands, and it's so much harder, and I have to conceal in different ways. And so, and also clothing, just going to get a jacket, there's always something wrong. I mean, women jacket don't have pockets. Like, it's a fake pocket most of the time. It was very, very hard for me to find one with just normal pockets. And so forget about the inside pockets. I will have to have that done like elsewhere. So there's some difficulties right there. What I wanted to say also is that people who are not magicians, when I tell them that I'm a magician, they seem to assume, since I'm a woman, that I do magic for kids. It's like, oh, you do magic show for kids. Like, no, I don't. I really, I don't. And they're like, oh, really? And they're surprised that, no, it's not my type of magic. I don't really do that. And they find it very, very strange. So, and something else that we mentioned a little bit earlier, I've heard that in the 80s, some magic clubs were not accepting women at all. In the 80s, I'm like, it's not that far away. Crazy. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, obviously, Isabel, here in the UK, up until that sort of era, we had men-only clubs of all sorts.
Magic Circle.
And I know of,
as Tom says, 1994. Yeah. If I've got my date right, was the first time women were admitted to the Magic Circle, and that's been going since 1905.
Yeah,
I think it was 1991. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Say again.
I think Faye Presto said it was 1991 that she joined.
It could
and she
be.
joined with a group.
I'm happy
made sure a group joined.
I'm happy to stand corrected. but
No,
I know
that's
it wasn't until 1990.
90s,
Because
yeah.
I don't exactly remember. I got it wrong. I think Megan was talking about it on Open Mic Magic, and I think I said 1998. I think she corrected me and said 94, but it could well have been 91. The point is, as Isabel was saying, right, she's the only girl in her class. I've seen some of her work on the various shows, and I've seen some of her work privately, which is sent to me to look at and evaluate, etc., etc. And I've seen it. She has used, if you want, her femininity, and there's nothing wrong with that. In much the same way as his name's gone right out of my head. God damn, his name's red. I could see his. Yeah, in much the same way he used his masculinity, because he was a big guy, kind of Conan the Barbarian type body, and just wore a leather vest, and he would go pow, and two big eagles would appear. It was a very kind of male thing, yeah, and then the sword would come out and would go flaming in the air. Yeah, I know we can have Xena, Warrior Princess, do that, but nobody's come up with that. Yeah, and come up with that as a woman. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that there are guys who use that's kind of big, macho, Conan the Barbarian type thing within the act. I mean, fine, it's okay. Not putting anybody down. So I can't see the problem with a female magician just going, okay, I want to do this. And somebody put up a couple of names. If I remember correctly, what they put up, one was Princess Tenko. She retained this femininity, but did the most incredible stuff. I mean, just wow. In my thinking, it enhanced it because she was female.
Was she ever introduced as a female magician, though? She was just introduced as a magician.
Yes, that's my point, Tom.
Yeah.
It's exactly my point.
Going back.
Yeah, that's going back a way.
I think a lot of it, we've got, 13 enlightened men, for lack of a better term. We are transitional. We have gone through the Me Too movement. We've gone through, women were chattel. We've gone through, women were made for reproducing the human race. Even back in the slave days, they were just pieces in society, and they are our equal pay, equal jobs, equal opportunity. And I think a lot of it is we are the transitional age. This is the last 15, 20 years. Yes, somebody said back in the 80s, but it took people talking. It took people talking to women. It took women talking to other women to say it's not right. And I think a lot of it is the 3 or 4 that we have here. Robina is always on the show. Isabel is coming out. Lisa is coming out. You got to be pioneers. It just got Connie Boyd has Boyd has her group, her talk show. Shazam was a big thing that SAM backed back in a couple years ago. That is still around. Kayla Drescher, Carissa. All these people are pioneers still. We don't think of it like that. It's just, people think, oh, we've got to change, and it happens overnight. It happens over a series of months and years and incidents. Rome was not built in a day, and everybody appreciates women in a different way, historically, traditionally, professionally, artistically. They're in different cogs, and until you step forward, make yourself present, make yourself, hey, I can do this. People are going to take notice. But if you sit back and go, well, they're going to call me a female. So what? It's only a transitional thing. People know, because as soon as it comes out of your mouth, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. So it's educational along the way. We are changing. Women, ladies, we are changing. Give us a break. We're the old white men in the group now.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, of course, is that the Equal Rights for Women Act in the US still hasn't been fully ratified by all the states, and that was introduced in 1923 or something.
Yeah.
And
speaking of equal rights and so on, most of you here already know of my DNA, particularly on my mom's side. And unlike, it does have bearing, what I'm about to say, it does. Unlike all the Hollywood crap that you've seen, Native American culture is a matriarchal culture. It's like elephants. It's run by women. You don't go to war till your cousin, your wife, your sister, somebody, your grandma braided your hair or blessed your arrows or whatever. You don't go on a hunt. You don't do anything unless consulting with the elder women. I'm not going to go into details. I mean, Kevin and I have had long chats about this, as is Michael Likey and myself, and a few others very close to me know about this. So it wasn't a question of, yeah, we're equal. So in my DNA, I don't see men and women as equals. I really don't. I see women as being superior. How on earth can you be equal to something when you carry life to full term and birth it? That's not being equal, that's superior.
And protect it.
And protect it and nurse it in its first days or months. I mean, that to me is an incredibly superior quality. I'm going to be totally stupid and silly to make a serious point. There is no man on this planet who's capable of nursing an infant. It's that simple. I'm being silly, but I'm making a serious point. So in our culture, for centuries, as Tom rightly raised, no, you weren't a chattel. You didn't do anything to, till your arrows were blessed or whatever. And if you had a problem, you went to the medicine women and, they spoke with you or whatever. Now, I understand this is not for everybody. And I'm not saying, you should follow it. I'm not. All I'm doing is I'm just holding up a sign. Who reads it. And if they want to ignore it, great. Nothing to do with me. My conscience says, hold up the sign. That's my job. That's all I do. So that's an aspect I think we need to bring into it, and also to bring out into the open in show business, and also regrettably in magic, which is part of showbiz. There are the producers who take advantage of people, women in particular. We've all heard of it in the movies and the casting couch. Sadly, till today, that still happens. Yes. Whether a young woman wants to go down that route, entirely up to her. Again, this is not judgmental. All I'm saying is there are people who take advantage of it. Yeah, I'll book you in the show and I'll give you a 3-month run in Vegas or Atlantic City or Singapore or wherever, right? And you got the gig or the part in the movie. So that's something we got to look at. Can we do something about it as magicians? Well, the answer is possibly, if we talk about it and bring it out into the open, really.
To be honest, Anthony, anyone who does that casting couch attitude now should be called, named and shamed. It just shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't happen.
Yes.
It is disgusting and immoral.
Yes, yeah. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
But
it's a power situation. That guy has the power and can, and that poor person who's been, denigrated in that way is powerless because they want the job, and it's just, it's awful.
It's just bullying, isn't it, Kevin? It's just bullying.
Yeah.
It's just plain bullying. That's all it is, Yeah. Well, love to hear some more from Lisa and from Robina.
Robina. Anthony, we were talking about Isabel, and how she's made her magic more rather using performance and style as a way of projecting her magic. So last week she produced a video for Tommy's show, which was in color and she spoke and there was all sorts of things happening, and it was very good. But she had some music in the background, which we weren't sure if that was we could use it on my show, because my show goes on YouTube and Facebook, and I didn't want a copyright strike. So before the end of the show, Isabel had re-edited her video into black and white and put subtitles in.
Oh, yeah.
and I just added some old time piano music to it, and it came out. What I'll do is I'll just play in a few minutes of it, so you can see what we ended up with. Right, so and
If you-
it's just fabulous.
Yeah, it is. To be fair to everybody else, some of you folks may not know this, but she's also actually a choreographer and dancer, and many other things. And it would be very interesting at some stage if you ask Kevin, and I'm sure he'll say yes, or give you the clip where you see it in black and white, and then on Tommy's show where you see exactly the same thing but in color, and all the nuances that happen on one and not on the other, and vice versa. And this is great magic. I mean, who on earth would have actually thought about doing that whole Christopher Hart thing, with a hand? It's just like, wow, okay, woo, wow, yeah. Anyway, I don't know if we want to bring in. I think some of the folks had to cut out and run, and they apologized and did that. Love to hear from you, Rabina. If you've got, I'd love to hear from your perspective, if that's possible.
Yeah, I'll just add Robin in.
Greetings.
Greetings.
I have made several notes as we've gone along myself. One, just as a matter of curiosity, did anybody notice me take the deck of cards out of my breast pocket?
No.
I came in late.
That's one of the things as a woman, you go, okay, I'm going to discreetly pull this deck of cards out, and everybody's eyes go like this. And so, yeah, you lose all of your direction, right, Isabel? And also, that is one of the things that I put the comments immediately. As a woman, the biggest difficulty are no pockets, and even we tend to be a little vain. Not that women are vain, but if you're going to put a deck of cards on each of my hips, I get, it's like no, they're big enough. Don't make, it's just fantasy. I know, but yeah, and so you have to put your pockets in very creative places. But another thing, it bothered me, and I know we talked about this, and the idea of sleeping your way up to the top, sleeping your way to a show. We don't say that about men. Say, oh, Anthony would never be in his position if he hadn't slept his way with all these women. It's like, and I find that I have always found that very insulting, that the same criteria isn't applied both sides. And and I laugh because he says he's a producer. I am also a producer in this record. And I have had people make offers to me. Well, I'll satisfy everything you need if you just. you're kidding. It's like, and after you throw up, then you just say, just submit your work on video and I'll be glad to look at it and send you back, And so it's interesting. And the thing, I truly want to support Mark's idea of a mentorship program. I mean, not only for women and men, but for all. SYM have a great mentorship program. I know that the local SYM group that we had here in San Antonio, for example, the person who ran it, all they did was card tricks. I mean, that was their thing. They're into cardistry. And somebody like, say somebody like me, not that I was going to SYM, I kind of passed that age a few years ago, but it's hard to find somebody who will teach you. I want to do rings. I had the hardest time getting somebody who I thought was good at rings to teach me lessons, and you can see videos, but I think we have so many people, and especially with the era of Zoom coming in, finding someone who is excellent and willing to take on a mentee to teach them rings or teach them, you look for something that seems to be your specialty of magic that you like. And I think that is an excellent idea, Mark, and I would love to see SAM proceed with that when we have such a great collection of people all over the world. That would be a mentorship program.
As I was saying to Mark, Robina, that is something we do have planned down the line. I've spoken with Rod about it. We've got quite a lot of strategies and structure in place. So that is going to happen. The Magic Circle have something similar. Of course, the Young Magicians Club, but they also have something similar for their apprentices who are going to take their exam, etc. So this is something, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were about then, that I breached with Joel back in the day, and we both liked it, but other stuff happened, and that was that. So we're bringing that back. Strategies are coming in place. Michael Lighty, who is just absolutely amazing on so many things, our first VP, has collaborated with me on that. We've got a strategy put in place. We're talking about that. We're doing that. I think he's still here. Yes, he is. Mark, the other Mark, Mind Week. Every time I need to do something, I go to him and I ask him, what do you think? Because I trust him and I'm never offended by anything. Some of my more, shall we say, closer students, mentees, if you like, I've told them when I am satisfied, I will bring him in and ask his opinion as well. Because it matters. He's going to look at it from a totally different perspective. And I'm glad you used that word, mentee. A mentor is not a coach, is not an instructor, not a teacher. It's something totally different. I'm not going to go into great details. They're there. There are clips. I did one with Kenton Nepper, Serena Stone, Darkstone dossier specifically on mentorship. If anybody would like to see it, just ask me. I have it and I'll share it with you.
And don't forget the wealth of information you have with V1.1, V1.2, V1.3. There are people out there that are talking, that are teaching. So
Yeah,
if you see something you like and you want to learn more, contact those people.
Absolutely,
That's why
Tom.
we're out there.
Absolutely. I'm glad Tom brought that up. I don't do the cups and balls. I never have done, and I'm in all likelihood never
Tomorrow.
ever, exactly, ever will. However, it has always fascinated me, and I've seen the most marvelous stuff by different people. I could reel off half a dozen names, but I'm not going to. Tomorrow, if you're an SAM member, all you got to go do is click a button. I have no idea what the content is. I know what it's about. It's about cups and balls. So you can just go there. That's it. Boom. Are you going to learn
48 minutes.
Are you going to learn something? I don't know. I have no idea. Right. What I was talking about was not so much specific effects that are taught in V1 and V2, etc. I was talking more in terms of more specific mentoring, you know, the shade of lipstick to how you paint your nails, to whether you stand this way or move that way, you know, whether you reach up and go like this or you do this. The difference, right? We've all seen it with the rings. Back in the day when my son was in his heyday, well, he's left magic now, most of you know that, he's 40. But, you know, in his early days, in his 20s, he would do the rings. And, you know, he was like billed as the Antonio Banderas of magic, good looking kid with a ponytail. He's got his hair, I'd grown it. And, you know, he would go through the rings and blow kisses to the females in the audience, right? Was that misogynistic? No, it was selling friggin' tickets. It's that simple. They couldn't care about the magic. They came to watch this good-looking kid. Yeah, I know he's my son, but yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying that's what it was, and the whole act was geared to that. He could have just as easily done the rings, but he didn't. When they separated, he blew a kiss through it, you know. And the torn and restored was, you know, a big red heart which was torn to the right music, and he would sit on a stool, and he would sort of look. You know, he was acting. This is what a mentor does. This is a mentor is teaching you. Michael Likey and I have had great conversations about this, and we're working on a project. That's why we've done all that. For 1.5 weeks, Lord Olivier, at the time he was Sir Lawrence Olivier, bought 3 seats. He would sit in the middle one and have the other 2 empty for Sammy Davis's show. And he would do just this. Not applaud, not do anything. We're talking about Sir Larry, okay? If you don't know who he is, look him up. Sammy Davis noticed this. You're lucky if you can see the first rows. Most of us know we've been on stage and you can't see anything beyond that. And by the 3rd night, even Sammy Davis was like, yeah, you know, he's a little phased, whatever. So he sent a message by his people to him and said, you know, would you like to come to the dressing room and after the show and whatever. Anyway, fast forward, gets the message. Larry goes over to the dressing room. He's sitting there. Not call him Larry, I shouldn't say Larry. He's sitting in the dressing room, and after the pleasantries and whatever, Sammy Davis just looks, and I have to ask, in all my career in show business, I have never ever seen anybody do this. And I checked. You always bought the tickets. You never asked for tickets. If you'd asked, obviously we'd given them to you. This is Lawrence Olivier, right? He said, I have to ask you, why did you do that? Why are you doing that? You've never done anything. You never applauded. You just sat there. This is Mr. Davis's story, not mine. I'm just recounting, okay? To which Sir Larry replied, I can't do the accent, but I'll try. My dear boy, in a month's time, I will be playing Othello. And I wanted to observe how a black man moves. This is Sir Lawrence Olivier, soon to be Lord Olivier, did this, was watching Sammy Davis's feet. So we all have a lot to learn, is my take on it. Yeah. Okay, I don't know. We want to jump back to Lisa there again. What have you you know, so far?
And yeah, so Mark and Tom with, I think, had some input as well. But I think it's time we heard from Lisa again.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's getting darker in the car. No, I don't know. I'm sort of sat here taking it all in, actually. It's really interesting because I think a few of you touched upon the actual magic. Like for me, I love magic, man or woman. I want to see good magic. And just because someone's a female and they come in doesn't mean that I'm going to back them if they're basically, you know, if they're revealing things or, you know, flashing and they're, you know, I'm not going to go, well, no, it's a woman. Yeah, I book magic shows because it's magic. You know, I'll go and see magic because it's magic. And for me, I'd go to, I mean, I have asked in my questions, like, would you be more inclined to go to a male or female magician for advice? But for me, I'd go to someone that was good at it, you know, regardless of gender. And so, yeah, so sort of been touched on quite a bit. And like with props, that was another big thing because like Isabel, I had the same thing. Like I had so in the end, to get like a thumb tip, I had to go junior size, and most people's like, no, you're a woman, you're not going to get a thumb tip. And these were magicians that probably knew that there were, you know, junior thumb tips, but for about a year, 2 years, I had this huge big thumb tip, and I sort of gave up. So I tried to work out different ways of, you know, like doing a bill switch, so I didn't have to have a thumb tip. So I'm trying to, like, you know, do a thumb grip, and I think it just, yeah, it's just ludicrous, really, some of the things. And also the wallet with the fire. It's like, you know, I've said to my other magic friends, like, where's my purse? I literally want to call my thesis, where's my purse? Because I wanted to make one that's a purse that opens up and fire comes out, because it's so cool. You know, so things like that, you know, it's just like, it seems not as equal. But as I say, with clothes and stuff, I've done the same. When I've performed, I've actually sewn in my own pockets in dresses. You know, I've, like Isabel said, that you have the fake pockets in. If you get a woman's blazer, it's always fake pockets. So you have to sort of like sew it in, and then you think, oh, you know, is it noticeable? And yeah, and I remember when I done my actual interview at the Magic Circle, and I'd done something with cards, and I was doing a trick with cards, and I was doing ropes. And I went to my bag, and the one that was interviewing me said, no, that's not good enough, because you wouldn't carry a bag around. You should have it in your pockets, literally. And I said, but I'm a woman, so I would have a handbag. He said, well, you know, if you was doing a restaurant, you wouldn't be walking around with a handbag. I said, no, I would. So, but then I was thinking, was I not? It made me really sort of paranoid. So yeah, sort of like prop wise, I don't think it's quite equal. I think women, not always, but with a lot of props, tend to have to, you know, tweak it to work. Where I think men, as I say, a man can walk in a jeans and t-shirt and just perform, and that's it. It's sort of like a god straight away. But women, it's like, yeah, I have to look the part. And yeah,
I have some very strong views on that. There's only one person who can perform magic in jeans and a t-shirt, and his name is David Blaine. Anybody else who does that, pardon my vulgarity, is crap. You've got, I'm not saying you got to wear an Armani tux for everything, but you got to look nice. And for God's sakes, if you're a male, manicure your damn hands. Right? You know, you've got to respect that audience. They're giving you their time and their money. And speaking of handbags, which I think whoever was sitting there interviewing you for that, I don't know who it was, probably even a friend of mine. I don't think I had friends like that, was playing stupid, because I know of two, I mean, I have to say this word for obvious reasons, you know, magicians who are ladies who do restaurant walk around. I'm not talking about Faye, I'm talking about two other people, and they carry a handbag. And you know those little clips you can buy now that you can just put on a table and then hang your handbag? Do you know the kind of thing I mean?
oh no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. They just go up to the table, do their opening, whatever, and then just put that in, but you got their handbag. Obviously, you know, it's props in it. So it doesn't look out of place. So they're just reaching in there and doing something and whatever, you know, at the table. Yeah, that's it. When they're finished, they pick it up. And that little clip, I don't have one. And I got another one, and I've got permission to use it. I get most of my props from the strangest of places. This one, I actually found in a thing that those of you in England will know what I'm talking about. It's like a dollar store, but it's called a pound shop in England. I found that in there. And I do some sort of silly, depending on the gig, obviously, right? The script changes. You know, let me show you the most beautiful woman in the room. And of course it opens and it's a mirror. Now that sounds sexist, but in the right context with the right script, it's not. That does two things for me. I then reveal, close it, obviously, while they're all looking and the audience is chuckling. I've got a Mercury fold Ace of Hearts, which they've selected before. And as I close it, the Ace of Hearts goes in there. And I said, look, you hang on to it for now and go into something else. When they open it, the card's there. Good, 10 minutes afterwards. So all I'm saying is, I'm doing this as a guy. This is the most natural thing in the world for a woman to bring out. I also like it, and I realized, God damn it, I can do these even in the parlor shows, because once I've opened it, I've spent so much time worrying about shiners. And then one day I went, Darkstone, you're an idiot. Once you've done this, just open it and put it on the table. I've got two friggin' mirrors. It's the best shiners in the world. Nobody's ever going to notice it. No, thank you, Mark. Yeah, so sometimes I don't care how long you've been in the business. The most obvious things you were talking about a thumb tip, right? Now,
Yeah.
had you and I had a conversation, and indeed several other people in there, we would have shown you what to do with a thumb tip. And these are other sessions we want to have. Yes, how to enlarge it, how to shrink it, and no, you don't put it on your thumb and use a hairdryer. You burn your hand. Don't listen to all the rubbish out there. There's ways of doing things. If we were having that conversation at the time, I would have said, have you ever thought about a sonata? You would have gone, well, what? What's sonata? So it depends who you talk to and who you're asking. This is why I love these roundtable things like this, where, somebody goes, no, but that's my idea. Like I just share this with you guys, that's the best shiner in the world. It's so goddamn obvious. It's right there. I can deal cards from here to Christmas and I know who's getting what. I can see it. But anyway, there's a lot of things. I mean, tell you what, Michael and I are going to have, Michael Likey, that is, you're going to have some sessions, which you're all invited to, obviously. Well, you remember now of the assembly, so you know all about it, Lisa. On these little subtleties, yes, little tiny subtleties that can make all the difference. Because you're going, well, one of the reasons I've got this nobody's ever going to see. I'll show you. Hang on, I'll show you. Nobody is ever going to see this stuck in there. All right, that's it. I'm done. I am done. Michael and I had these conversations. You know, Michael, he's got a ponytail. So that goes in there. I have, not on a different, because I have different costumes for different things. They'll look the same, but they're not. I have a habit of doing that, which is part of the main Darkstone. I have two other characters up front. The main Darkstone character tends to do that, to acknowledge people, right? Because he's kind of very, so he's got to be soft at times and just smile and acknowledge it. Yeah? Otherwise the character is too strong. And I have sewn in here on the vest, waistcoat in England, if you can imagine that's the waistcoat, yeah? Can you imagine, that's it, yeah? A pocket, and it goes in there. So I've done this 3 or 4 times to acknowledge some applause. The next time I need it, I can go in there and get it. And it's perfectly normal. You don't even know I've got it on my thumb. Well, you do now, right? Daryl, blessings for his memory, once did an entire lecture with a thumb tip that he had painted green. And his point at the end of the lecture was, this is how you use it. Nobody, and there's a room full of magicians, right? Nobody ever spotted it. Nobody ever spotted it. So these are the kind of sessions Michael and I are going to be putting together, hopefully with Kevin's help. And you're all invited. Just come in, drop in. It's a bit like V1 and V2, a little bit more specific and like effects that you can learn. And fine, your SAM members, go to it. That's what they're doing it. Go visit. I might well show up tomorrow and juggle my diary because I love cups and balls. I don't want to do it. I just love it. I just want to see it. I've seen some of the best. Anybody ever heard of Tony Hassini? And do you know what he does? IMS? Okay. Well, Michael's not in, we've talked about him in the past. And Tom has, and Andrew. I saw him in Christian Diamond's house. We're all having dinner. And after dinner, he said, you like cups and balls? And I said, well, yeah. He said, do you want to see something? Said, yeah, I'll happily see it. And he did this whole friggin' routine with live chicks. The first time I'd ever seen that was on a boat with my dad going through the Suez Canal, and my eyes popped out of my head when I saw this guy. I think if I get it right, they're called Gully or Gully, something like that. Anyway, and these guys were doing this with live chicks. Then I found out about, whose name escapes me. I'm an old guy. You have to forgive me. I forget things sometimes. Very famous guy, and he used to do it with live chickens, but they soon stopped booking him because he would then flush them down the toilet afterwards, which was not nice. But, that's what it is. That's what it was. But then, so you ever get a chance to see Sean Farquhar do his Cups and Balls act? kill whoever you got to kill, you know, steal money, whatever you got to do, right? Go and watch him. Because his ending on the cups and balls is like nobody else. Also Suzanne the Magician, she was on the last gala show last month. I'm not going to reveal the ending. If you want to watch it, you ought to see her ending with her cups and balls. I specifically wanted her on the gala show to do that ending. So yeah, we've kind of focused mainly on the female gender in magic today, because I didn't know how this was going to run. It could have been just 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know. So I don't know if you want to kind of like raise something else or who. It's Mark and Stephen. Mark and Stephen. Yeah, sorry.
Before we, I just want to butt in and tell everybody about the convention, the online convention coming up in September. Which it's the Magic In convention, and I'll just drop in the promo video so you can see who's on it. So I will just hang on. Let me just remove all spotlights and then just do that, and then drop in the video. So that's coming up in September the 24th, which is a Saturday, and it's timed to be friendly for the USA and the UK. And I'll just drop in the chat the website where you can find out more information. And tickets are on sale at the moment. There's an early bird deal on the tickets as well. And but it's got a terrific lineup. And I think it'll be
it's awesome. As we were sort of spent most of our get together talking about one topic in particular. Fair enough. I don't know how it was going to run. It depends on people. Alexandra Duvivier, great DNA. You know, her dad is probably one of the best magicians of the 20th century. And so, yeah, this lady is really, really worth watching. And I believe, if I'm right, Kevin, she was on the Penn and Teller show at some stage as well.
Penn and Teller, yes.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, you know, just awesome. There's some good stuff, you know, coming up after August. We're all kind of like going to take a little back while we're preparing things. Lisa, where have you gone? I can't see you.
I'll bring her back
in the dark.
Are you? Oh, you in the? Oh, there you are. Yes. Oh, looking very Alfred Hitchcock and mysterious. Yes. Well, yeah. And I was just going to say, and this is entirely up to you with the remaining people, and I can promise you we know them all. So they're okay. Yeah, they're okay. Stephen Glass, maybe not, but yeah, no, I'm kidding. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Stephen's had his hand up for ages.
Yeah. If you want people to contact you via your Facebook page, so not everybody here would have had all your questions. So if you feel it's
Yeah,
of
feel
some use
free.
to you,
Mm,
would you like to do that or put your email in the
Yeah,
chat? It's entirely up to you. Entirely
that
up
would
to
be
you.
amazing. I'm just
Well,
Lisa
you just tell
Barber.
people what you want. You just people what you want.
Yeah, I mean, either I'm on Facebook. If anyone wants to either add me or, just send me a message and then I can send them the questions if they're happy to help. That'd be amazing. If that's all right.
Mm.
But you've got me on Facebook, haven't you? So you could
Yeah,
and
you're in there. What I'll be talking to you anyway because I need your picture and bio to make a welcome post.
yeah.
But I also need.
Can I wear a mask?
Oh, don't be silly. Don't need to wear a mask. You're fine as you are. What's wrong with you? Stop. No. No. Also, if you want to make a post, pretty much
Yeah.
like you did for the circle, and just post it, it won't go straight there. It goes through an approval process, but I can assure you it will be approved. Okay.
Amazing.
So just make the post. Hi, Lisa, I'm here, whatever. And then I'll just put the post up and then you can have other
thank
people
you.
responding to you. And I'll also do that on the Anthony Darkstone Magic Chronicles. So then you'll get a, even bigger kind of response. Yeah. But I would caution you, don't give out your email or anything on that because I know most of the people there, but not everybody. Okay.
Right. Brilliant. Thank you.
Nowadays, you can't be too careful, as you know.
Yeah.
No matter whatever gender you are, you just can't be too careful nowadays.
Good night, Michael.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Who was? Oh, Michael, you're away. Yeah. Okay.
I have to go. I have to
Okay.
go.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
thanks so much, everyone. Be well. We'll see you all soon.
Regards to Sue. We'll catch up. Take
You
care.
betcha. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
And Stephen's been waiting for about 27 hours to get his question in. So.
Hi. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things, especially in the motion picture and TV industry. You notice they no longer use the word actors and actresses anymore. They finally got away with that, especially with transgender. And nowadays, nobody knows what sex, whatever you are. So finally, that has disappeared for that industry. And I look for it to happen to the point where they no longer use it when they introduce people as a quote unquote magician. Finally get away from what the stereotype of it. I put a couple of things up there showing like 10 great women magicians, I believe it says, the word magicians, okay? Another thing about PACA, so some people are aware of it, some people aren't. I was in law enforcement for years. Believe me, women have a lot of different things with pockets on it. You can go to like Amazon and eBay and that. I have no idea how many times I picked up a woman that you think has nothing and she starts pulling stuff out of God knows where. Okay, believe me, there was a lot of stuff out there for women that do have pockets. Yeah, and I noticed one of the people put in text that the only people that they have heard from was men, and I put underneath it that no woman has raised her hand to make a statement. Then after that, Isabella was allowed to make a statement, but it was because they didn't raise their name. It wasn't their hand. It wasn't. It was an all men's club or anything like that. So I just wanted to bring that up. Have a good day.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I know for a fact I have a very, very, very close brother friend here. I mean, very close, who is also in law enforcement, and he will pretty much back things that you said. If he wants to talk about it, he will. If he doesn't, he won't. But trust me, he is a man who probably knows more about magic than 5,000.
Oh, believe me, you'd be surprised, really surprised where women will put things. Really, to be exact, I was working one shoplifting detail in a grocery store, and this one woman was already in her computer system on the flag list. Well, she walks in, she gets a shopping cart, she goes to check out, she checks out through one of her checkout counters, and apparently one of her rigs had slipped because we videotaped her coming in. When she's going out, she's pregnant.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So after she gets through the checkout, all of a sudden we hear a snap, and this turkey drops. And I happened to be working at the checkout unit that day and ran over and said, "Congratulations, you just gave birth to a 10-pound turkey."
So, yeah, that's funny.
But it's true.
No, I'm sure it is. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just funny. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another thing that we watch is women, they'll take a shopping cart and in the center of it, they'll put their bag, their handbag, and then they start putting stuff around it, taking stuff off the shelves, put it around it. Then the big items they'll take and they'll put it right in the center where the shopping, where their bag is, and they'll fill it up and they'll zip it up. Then they go to the checkout, they lift out that shopping, their handbag and go to checkout. Believe me, that's an old trick. And believe me, we know it all. And you'd be surprised the things which people steal. Laundry detergent. Do you realize a large container of laundry detergent in some areas goes for as much as $50? Deodorant. Believe it or not, well, you know, apparently the ones that I picked up didn't know how to use the product that they stole. Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, let's go to Kevin. Goes who's
Mark had his hand up.
I had a question and a comment, but the comment is frivolous and just more humorous. How is the blocking different for women magicians than men magicians also, or is it primarily the pocket issue? How you move?
I'd say it's more the pockets. That, like, if you think of it like a suit a man wears, he's got the waistcoat, there's pockets, you've got the outer pockets on the jacket, you've got the inside pockets, you've got your trouser pockets. So you're just like, it's quite jealous actually. There's so many pockets. And for a woman, you either have to wear really ridiculously baggy clothes, so you know it's people automatically assume you're concealing something anyway because you're coming in like, you know, I don't know, like a blow up dove or something, you know? And or you just have to carry very, because I mean I say we've all seen it, but I've seen men, you know, pull out a whole bottle of wine from their, you know, they're concealing in their pocket, and you think if that was a woman, you'd rather have some really weird shaped figure, or you know, you've got to have like several layers for it. So I think a lot of it is mainly that. That's for me anyway. I don't know, you know, if anyone else got a different opinion.
Well, Mark raised a good point. Like I was talking earlier on about the thumb tips, right? I having grown this in the last year and a half, I just put one in there. Now, obviously, if you're female and you've got long hair, you know, the creativity is beyond all. You just figure out what you're doing, you know, and what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and what's it going to cost you? Nothing. Half a dozen thumb tips, and you can create some incredibly powerful, stunning magic. And if you can't use a thumb tip, and ladies, you see, you could do this. I'm not being sexist. I really am not. But if you've got well manicured, painted hands, yes, with fine nails, obviously, and nail polish, etc. on it, then if you've got a thumb tip that looks exactly the same, but you're wearing it on this finger, for example, with a big ring that's shiny, fake diamond, all of it is going here and it catches the light. And that's your thumb tip from there. Because, you know, it's just disguise. It's just disguise. I'm not going to say the name. It's not right. But there's one of my very, very, very dear mentees is doing a specifically tailored performance. And what I said to her is, paint your nails this way. He went, oh, I never thought about that, right? Because it's a very specifically geared audience. Nice. Very specifically geared. And I said, well, when you do your nails, do it this way. Now, that's not going to work if you were a guy. It's just not. I mean, it can if you want to. I mean, a lot of guys paint their nails. They want to do it. They want to do it. That's great. Nothing to do with me or anybody else. But, you know, that's something, you know, we can do. And these are the kind of sessions we're going to be doing down the line. Just freewheeling and someone going, hey, I've got this. For example, Lisa, like you said, well, I can't find the thumb tip to do that. So we'll get the smallest one and this is how you shrink it. What are you going to do with it anyway? And you say, well, I was thinking of that. Well, forget it. Too complicated. Get us another.
I think it's probably worth asking George a word about that. Was George uses uses makeup and
Oh, indeed. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
and
I use makeup and it would go
and
on
painted
stage.
nails. So
I can't-
George, do you
yeah.
do you have a disguise thumb tip that you use when you're working with painted nails?
No, I've never, because I change my nail colours so regularly. I've never painted the nail of a thumb tip because there's just no point, because I never have the same colour nails when I perform. So otherwise I'd have to have like 10 different thumb tips all with different nail polish on them.
Which answers the question for women as well, because you're not always going to use the same nail polish or nail varnish and nail colour, are you, Lisa? I don't know. George,
I rarely paint my nails. I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy for it. So my nails are rarely painted.
I'm talking about your performing character. Yes.
Yeah.
Your performing character may have a particular visual. Which
that's true. Before I go on stage, I would have like red nails usually, I think.
Yeah, and this is very important, and the color of lipstick, because it depends what the effects you're going to do and who the audience is, who you're playing to, their age range. Yes. Where the gig is, how many of them there are, and things like that. Yeah. If somebody come to me and mentees or students in the past or currently going to go, well, I'm doing this, it's 2,000 people on the stage. And I'm going, well, you better make sure that your blocking, as Mark brought up earlier on, is different to a parlor, and that you have got some color that can be seen, and your movements have to be that much slower, because you got all these people up in the gallery and need to be seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And now, go ahead,
George. I've just had an idea. Does this not give the opportunity for magic supply producers to produce a thumb tip with a repaintable area that you could use ordinary nail varnish on it and remove it?
I wasn't thinking that.
No, it's just an idea.
No, I know
like
it is an
who
idea.
has multiple different colors.
No,
and
but
it's
you'd have
not to do with his character. It's just the way he is. He will have different colors for different.
I was thinking with women and the shape of the nails that women have. Yeah. I think if you custom build your own thumb tip, because a lot of people in showbiz, as everybody knows, it's not secret, also in magic, they use the glue-on fake nails anyway. Yeah, no matter what you're doing, you can be anything from a model to an actress, whatever. There, I've said it, actress. God, I shouldn't. Actor, of the female gender. Anyway, you can do that, because I've seen some stunning stuff, because I just did it as an off chance, and they said, well, whatever. What's the misdirection? I said, God, that's going to be tough. I said, put glitter on your nails. What? I said, put glitter on your nails and let's see what happens. So they did. They put glitter on the nails, and there was so much glitter going on, the misdirection never got noticed. So sometimes it's a tiny little thing, which, if you were a guy and you did that, it's the mindset of the audience, they may not be, shall we say, as open to things. So if you've got specific audiences, then they're going to no, I just want to stay with that. And they have certain stereotype things in their minds. And okay, that's fair enough. They're bound to take it. We can't change their minds, but there it is. Yeah.
An interesting thing also, Anthony, with thumb tips is, and I can't remember the magician who did this for us, George might know, who does we had a lecture from a specific magician, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but he was talking about various things, etc. And he did this whole first routine, which was a card trick, all the time wearing a red thumb tip that nobody noticed.
Yeah. There was this guy, his name I can't recall. The moment someone says it, I'll go, yeah, him. He gave this out, it must have been several months ago, it may even been last year. It's on the files on the website, the Magic Circle. Yeah. He gave this entire lecture on thumb tips. I'm going, whoa, yeah. I'm going to share something with you now. One or two of you have seen this. And Jeff McBride does this, only his is smaller. It's a spectacle case, just a bit bigger than this one, right? Because there's an old joke that Steve Daly says, and it's actually true. you're not really a magician unless you're a plane going in one direction and your luggage and props is on another plane going in another direction. I mean, when you get to wherever you're going, you're not going, you know, the airline, but they're going, oh, we don't care. You signed a contract. We're going to sue you. Come up with something. So you're scurrying around and you figure out all the things you can do. So in there, in my carry-on, 2 45-minute acts. One of the things in there, let me see if I can find it. Should be here. I think I showed it to you once before, didn't I, Isabel? Yeah. I'm not sure where it's gone. It's in there. Well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Come on, Darkstone. Yeah. There we are. Now, do you see it? Now you can. Never goes on my thumb. Never goes on my thumb. Because most of the time I'm doing this. And what better psychology does it say? My hands are empty. Sometimes I do that. When I've lectured, particularly in Canada, when I lectured over in BC, it was like this most of the time. And I had this right from the beginning. I didn't need it till about, 20 minutes into the lecture. Now, imagine you're a lady, and I'm being very specific about it being a lady. You've got it on your left hand. You've got all the nails done equal, stuck on or not, as the case may be, and some nice, big piece of jewelry. It's going to look really stupid if you're a guy and you've got a big chunky piece of jewelry, but it's acceptable for a woman, yeah? And the same matching thing as a brooch or, in your hair or whatever. And that's it. That's that's in there. It's a whole 3 or 4 routines I build with that. And that's it. I mean, there's a couple of other bits and pieces in here, but it's here. It's here if I need it. And, it just squashes up to nothing. This, obviously, I iron it when I get to the hotel, because I hate props that don't look right. I'm such a meticulous, fussy person, you won't believe, but I am.
Anthony?
Yes, sir.
You can buy this right here.
What's that?
That's a set of thumbs in all different sizes.
Okay.
It comes in a pack just like that. Oops.
There you go.
Fingertip set.
Yeah.
And that is an actual pack of 7 different ones, so you can use them on different fingers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of times I don't even use it because everybody expects everybody to do this. So you put it on like your middle finger or something like that, and you're doing something like this, and they can see your thumb is clear. So they're never even suspecting it. And this goes like it goes from like small to extra large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
lay people, by and large, don't know about thumb tips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They don't, by and large, if you think about it. They don't. Most of them, by and large, doesn't matter where you're performing on the planet. There's one thing I found out from traveling around the world in different places, is that it's probably the first time they've ever seen a magician other than TV.
Oh, really?
And they don't know. They just don't know. And I've seen people do what we would consider, really, that, make a fortune using the same thing for lay people. Some of you know this story. I mean, most of you have gone here, but most of you know this story. Isabel knows it. So I told her, and she's seen it. You've seen the clip, haven't you?
Yeah.
I got paid a serious 4-figure sum of money for TV. And this is with me 24/7. Oh, get it out. Hang on. I'm going to get stand up. Better.
Really must be very difficult for him to shower this way.
For turning this on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
In US dollars, I got paid $5,000 for doing that on a live
Mm-hmm. That's one of the oldest tricks in the world. They're
Of
turning.
course. They asked me to do something else, and I said, no, I can't do that, and whatever, because you seated me wrong. This is not what we wanted, blah, blah, blah. And they went, oh, what are we going to do? And I said, I don't know. What are we going to do? Right? We've specified everything. I'll tell you what, I've got something here that might work. Let me get with the presenter who I knew already anyway. And if she's cool with it, shall we do it? And then I just showed it to the producer, and he went, oh my God, we can't pay you any more money for doing that. No, I said, I don't want any more money. I just want to be sat where I want to be sat. And then I'll do this instead of what we contracted to do. He went, really? I said, yeah, really. Yeah, great. That was it. And this is my go-to at every airport. There's always somebody at the airport. Watch this. Why have you got 17? This was a strange looking thing. What do you do with it? Well, you know, I'm a magician. Really? Can you show me something? And then I go, thank you, God of magic, because now he's my friend. Listen, I'm not going to tell the story here. I really am not, because it's a good story. I'm not going to shorten it. I brought Tel Aviv Airport to a standstill doing this for the security people. Seriously. And after that, it was like, whoa, yeah, great, VIP, build him up, get his bags, bring him over here, take him up there to the lounge. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We didn't want to be treated like a VIP star. I put it to you, you'd be a great fibber if you said, no, I don't want to be treated like that. I promise you. Yeah, you love it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can do with it. Yeah, yeah. My object is to get on the damn plane with all my stuff. That's it. Yeah. So there's pros and cons with, you know, every little thing. So, Lisa, was this of some help to you today?
Oh, it was. Thank you. I've been writing so many notes, so it's been amazing.
Well, Kevin kindly has recorded it. We're not going to put it out for general view, right? We're not. When I say general, I mean amongst magicians, obviously. But Kevin will sort of do it up or send it to me, and I'll ask Michael to do it up and put it on our YouTube or whatever. We'll find some way. And if you want it as some sort of reference, and that goes for anybody else, if you say, oh, yeah, I'd like to watch it sometime again. Yeah, fair enough. We're all here to help each other. And that way, everybody wins.
Oh,
that's my life philosophy and the philosophy of my assembly. And as long as I remain president of that assembly, that will be its motto. Everybody wins when we help each other. Yes, sir, Mark.
I have one thing for the ladies.
Yes, sir.
Imagine, if you will, trying to teach us stupid XY chromosomed creatures. We are missing half a chromosome, which has got all the cool stuff, like remaps, S directions, things like that. Imagine, if you will, to teach us what you folks go through with pocket management, that you have us wear only a t-shirt and only tights and send us out there. Does that work? I mean, is that how we have to get into the mindset that you folks have to deal with?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yes. Very.
Hey, Mark, thanks for that, because you know me well enough as do some of the other folks. I don't think like normal people. I think in frames like a movie director. Those are close to me know that. How about, and I'm just tossing it out there initially, obviously, to just listen.
I really don't look good in tights.
I wasn't going to ask you either. Yeah, no, I was just going to
Don't ask me how I know.
Yes, pardon? Oh, I'll come to that part. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I was going to actually just jump this thought that's whirling through my head at the moment and see where it takes us. So somewhere down the line, to just put a session together like this with just the ladies, like Lisa and Isabel and other ladies in our assembly, just to come in and just say their bits and, you know, kind of run something from, you know, the perspective like you just raised. Honestly, you know, that's a good question. I mean, apart from it being, humorous. It's actually a very serious, good question, Mark. So down the line, I don't know, with you, Isabel and Lisa, would you be up for something like that? You know,
Yeah. I think it'd
Yes,
be quite
sure.
fun.
a kind of atmosphere like this, talk show, but you know,
Yeah.
just going from guest to guest. And you know, she was all good. A lot of people were going to be there. A lot of dear sister friends were going to be here, but they're out gigging. Louise Andre Douglas, for example, I'm going to love her to bits. She's like my magic niece. My, you know, she's been adopted. Like I've adopted Isabel the same way. So, you know, well, it's just me. You know, it's just me. It's just who I am. Anyway, yeah, something down the line of doing something a little bit different, and you know, we're bringing all the other people from the SAM and the Magic Circle. Anybody who wants to join in, yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
If I could make a suggestion, how about just having a show where the women show how exactly they do the trick that a man would do, only the way they do it differently, and we can learn from that.
Ahead of you on that, Michael and I have already put together, and I've got some people in the cast. I've already got 2 cast members for want of a better expression, don't shoot me. It's going to be an all ladies cast. So I'm looking at that, you know, down the road in December. Those who can make it live on Zoom, great, with a, you know, studio setup or whatever. And those who can't, just send a video over and we play that. But I have certain ways, as you guys know, many of you have actually been on the show, like Michael, etc., of directing and producing it. So it's got a feel of a live show. When people look at it, they're not quite sure if it's live or videoed. They know it's a video they're watching, but they're not sure what the performers are, you know, doing. So I use that. I've learned that in the last 3 years, how to do that via Zoom.
Robin apologizes she had to leave.
No, I understand. The first one was an absolute friggin' disaster. The first Zoom was a pilot show, which was a magic stroke cooking stroke magic show with Arian Black. So I said to her, well, you know how to cook, you do magic. How about we put something like this together? She said, well, yeah, great idea. I'd love to do it. So I said, okay, fine. So I said to Joel, what do you reckon? He said, I love it. Let's do it. So clever guy here goes, piece of cake, camera, done, television, nothing to worry about. Boom, yeah, easy to do. No, sir. I found out that Zoom is an entirely different creature. Good thing we did the pilot. And I realized, oh, that's not going to work what we do on TV. It's not. Yeah, it's entirely different. So yeah, you know, you learn stuff down the line as you go, and you look at it, and you know, the performers adjust to things as well. I mean, Kevin's been in the cast, and you know, you adjust things so people kind of watching it later, the recording, look at it and go, oh wow, that was a cool show, because I go through the same process as if I was doing a live show on stage or TV studio with the performers. But, you know, I think it's a great idea, Stephen. I mean, it's something we're mulling about. It's on the list, I'll tell you that right now. It's definitely on the list. And I was kind of trying to figure out a way of how to approach it. I haven't got that far yet. I know I just want an all ladies cast. That I know. But I haven't quite figured out how to approach it and what sort of thing to, you know, flavor to give it. That sort of thing. It's not just a series of videos of people coming on and doing something with silk or whatever, because I don't do folksy. It's either got to be right or I don't want to do it. I really don't. I come too far down the road to kind of, you know, lower the bar, as it were. Yeah. Anyway, but that's me. That's me. We should do a paranormal investigation show, Mark. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be cool.
It would, particularly you doing your thing with the egg. Wow, that's like free. I'm not going to say any more. You want to see what Mark does to remove a curse? Whoa! I've never felt so good in all my life after he finished. Oh, we got some good stuff. Tell us a little bit before we wind up, Mark, about what the PIC gets involved in. Better coming from you than me.
The PIC is an extension or an ongoing committee actually started back up. As you know, the Society of American Magicians had this guy. You know, a lot of people might know him as an escape artist. Some people might know him as a card guy. He's just a busybody. His name was Houdini. Okay. And along with his escape show and this, that, and the other, eventually he started exposing fraudulent mediums, this committee is an extension of the work he, Melbourne Christopher, and other members of the of the SAM put together. And we continue to talk about how to watch out for being fraudulent mediums. The term that Melbourne Christopher coined is mediumistic frauds, in that we don't know whether someone's a psychic or not, but if they're taking thousands of dollars from you and they're not removing the curse, then yeah, you can probably think that they're, so the investigation committee will go and watch a process if we're ever asked, which we haven't. The last time we were actually asked was when Andy Dallas was chair of the committee. What we're doing now is we put together a program. It's a lecture that we send out to the communities through the PIC and through our members, so that we can teach people how to avoid getting caught up in mediumistic frauds. And we're not talking about sitting down paying $150 for a seance, the week before Halloween, or paying $50 or $20 or 15 pounds or whatever for a Renaissance fair fortune telling. That's not the kind of thing we're talking about. What we're talking about is real money or real damage. One of the cases we talk about is a lady who was in for almost $70,000 because the medium had told her she was cursed. She doesn't get this, and how she was cursed. If she doesn't get this curse removed, not only will it affect her, but it will affect her family. To do a ritual, she needs all these particular ritualistic components. They have to come from far away. They're very expensive. And then the psychic will do, the medium will do the ritual, but it's too dangerous for her to be there. And so the money's gone. The lady presses charges, and local law enforcement gets involved. We talked about another psychic out of Florida who is dealing, a gentleman who has PTSD for two that developed during his second tour of duty in Afghanistan. And while it's not a high dollar amount, it's only like $37,000 that he's paid her. She has convinced him to cut off all contact with his family, his mother, cut off contact with his doctor, stop taking his medications. And this went over probably 2 years until he finally got law enforcement involved. And I always save that case to the end, because you can imagine how much damage she did to this guy's recovery or even just quality of life, being isolated from his family, being isolated from his doctors, being taken off the medications and things like that. And these people don't care. And we go as we go through this lecture, as we go through this presentation, we talk about why people don't report them. You know, I'm embarrassed. Well, I went to them, so it's partially my fault. You know, they're kind of now friends with mine, and I don't want them to get in trouble. You know, I mean, you know, what are my family going to think? What are my friends going to think? There's a whole bunch of reasons why it goes unreported. So we try to educate them what's going on, how it works, a little bit of cold reading in there, a little bit of hot reading in there. We don't expose any actual magic tricks because as members of the SAM, we don't expose magic. But I want them to be educated enough to say, hey, I know what's going on and I can step back from it and not get caught up in that. So that's what the PIC is doing now. And sadly, no one has yet come and asked us to check out, you know, John Edwards or anything like that. So
I've got a little story about this sort of thing. So a couple of years ago, I'm on, I think you've got it, I think it's more or less international now, a local sort of social media thing called Nextdoor. Mm-hmm. And some woman, obviously elderly, had posted on there saying, you know, she was after a psychic. And several things all came flooding in, and I quickly looked them up and saw that they were, you know, people selling their wares for exorbitant amounts of money. So I contacted her via private message and said, look, don't pay these people money. They're just going to take you for a ride. Give me a phone number and we'll have a chat. I'll tell you how, you know, I won't tell you how it works, but I'll give you an example of what they can do. Mm-hmm. And while I was waiting for that to come back, I found her on Facebook. I looked up about her, everything she posted on Facebook, found when her husband died, what his name was, loads about her. And then when she phoned me, I did a full psychic thing on her and said, so that, I said, was all rubbish. I said, I'm not psychic. I don't know anything about it. I just managed to find all this information and put you together a performance that has taken you in. And she said, oh, thank you ever so much for doing that. A month later, she was back on the group asking for psychics.
Some people want to believe, and yeah, we know that. And they can do with their money and their time.
It's missing their partner who's gone, and they think that some way they'll be able to talk to them again.
Yeah. It's one of the things that has struck me actually since before I actually started as chair of this is that we really need to pay attention and be cognizant of people's feelings who are looking for some kind of closure, some kind of reassurance, and not say, well, it's all rubbish and I don't know why you think this, because that's their hope at the moment. That's what they're working, you know, and we got to kind of be, you know, in our presentation, I actually have my father's obituary, which is public domain. I mean, it's out there, you know, when it's published in the paper, off it goes. The next slide in our presentation is highlighted in red every Googleable thing in it that would get you more information. And most obituaries are also published with a picture. So you're going to get this. I see a guy, he's an older guy. I see him having eye problems. He's a bigger guy, you know, and I mean, they're just looking at the picture. And then they could have gone to any of those Googleable items and found another picture of perhaps his grandparents or something, and it's just too easy to hot read. I've one of the pictures we have is of a checkout location in the grocery store, convenience store, tabloid, and there's a half page of just different psychics and a phone number or an email address. And so as you're giving all your information, that's exactly what they're looking up. So yeah, I want people to be happy to go to have entertainment with, fortune teller, go to a Ren fair, have a great time, do this, do that. But when they get to the point where they're going to start caught up in that, I want them to feel like, hey, I've seen this before. That's what that guy was talking about, and back himself out.
Yeah, I think what we've got coming up, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about it because Mark is in the process of putting it all together, I know, with people like, well, you are, with Tom Messeral and Max Maven, etc.
Oh,
yeah, we're going to do a couple of sessions on cold reading, which is kind of really interesting. And one of the things I recommended, of course, was Steve Shaw. Oh, sorry, Banachek. Yes. Mm-hmm. That he's done some very, very good work on that. And to nobody in particular, yes, that is underway. And there may well be a 10, 15-second clip shortly. To no one in particular. And if you're going, what the hell is he talking about? Never mind. The person who knows. It's okay. Yeah, right. So yeah, I'd forgotten all about that. I was actually going to say that, but yeah, glad you mentioned it. So yeah, that thing on cold reading coming out, which is really a lot of fun. I mean, till this day, Keith Churcher half believes that I've got some. If you don't know who he is, shame on you. But you actually know you shouldn't. You wouldn't. He's in England. Keith is about 90 now. It's such a lovely, lovely, beautiful man. I've known him for years. And he's an MIMC with a gold star. And when I did something for him over in England one time, he still to this day, and I kid him over it, because I love mischief. I did a little kind of version of my X-ray vision, with the things clamped on there, and, whatever. And till this day, he goes, well, I don't know, you may have something, He calls me Tony from the old days, not Anthony. He says, oh, Tony, you might have something in there. You had, a couple of old gals in the audience, convinced. And all it took was, I'm seeing a scar on the left knee.
I use that line in a card trick.
Yeah. The silliest of things, there's two stairs and a door that's a very dark color. And you're watching the body. Well, you got to learn about kinesics. You're watching the body language, You're reading the kinesics. If it's a sort of very darkish color, no, wait, it's lighter. You read the body. And you'd be surprised how actually straightforward and easy. Well, obviously you got to know about kinesics, but that's it. But it's there. People misuse that for ill-gotten gain, and that's what Kevin, myself, you got no problem with someone wanting to believe in it. Right.
Well, there's big money there.
It's con, isn't it? That's what it is. I mean,
myself and a colleague decided, because there was a psychic show at a local venue, and we decided to go down and enjoy ourselves, have an evening's entertainment. See, to be honest, it was pretty poor. And the one thing that was really interesting, once there were three psychics that came and did their bit, and once they'd found somebody in the audience that they could hit on, they all three went back to that same person. But the funniest bit was the first woman, who was the worst. decided to pick on my friend as her one of her as you're talking about, like see this man in standing behind, he's an older man, etc. And then she started, when she realized she wasn't getting any traction out of him, she started talking about him. And she said, well, I see that you've got a sort of pain in your lower back. And my friend at the top of his voice said, well, look at the age of this audience, about 2/3 of us probably have.
Well, this is where you're reading the kinesics, how they're sitting. You can tell if there's some back issues from the way they're sitting and so on. And I'll tell you, the guy we've got to get to have a good talk one day, or give a talk rather. I think you already know this, Mark, and that's dear Michael Kelly. What Michael doesn't know about runes, H.P. Lovecraft, fairies, and Egyptology ain't worth knowing. Fascinating. Sorry, Michael, I'm not embarrassing you. I'm just speaking the truth, I hope. No, I am.
Oh.
He's very knowledgeable on all these matters. He really is.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm very flattered.
Not at all. It's sincere. Yeah, you know that. Yeah. I think you've got another fan here, Isabel, for example. Yeah. And Kevin and a few others. No, you're extraordinarily knowledgeable on all these matters. Yeah.
Who was George was asking how can he get involved, I think.
How can he get involved with what?
I'm just so interested in the Paranormal Investigation Committee and
well, that's easy.
What they do.
Send Mark an email and he'll give you all the details. You're an SAM member.
Yeah.
You're part of our International Assembly, so is Mark.
Actually, the word on the street is in the deep, dark recesses of the magic circle, in the far back corners, dusted place in the library, there might be 3 or 4 books on the paranormal. I'm not sure whether that's true. I believe Mr.
It is true. It is true. It is true.
I know it is.
George will go there and have a look, as will Lisa, I'm sure, at some stage, on a Monday. Well, the circle.
I know
used
it's
to,
true.
Yeah, I know.
Joking.
You just. I know.
Mischief.
The circle used to have a equivalent I don't know what it was called, but something like the paranormal, our PIC. And it was headed up by David Burglass, which was absolutely wonderful, because David really wanted to go into the esoteric things, and much like Christopher Milburn did. And then it just sort of, when he retired, it just sort of flopped. As you know, Mark, I went to try to get a lot of info from it because you'd asked me, and there was nobody around who was interested. The 2 people came back and said, "Oh, no, nobody believes in that nonsense." I said, "No, I don't think you understand. We're trying to get a liaison going here. It's not whether you believe or disbelieve. That's not the issue. The issue here is to explore the subjects and the topics." But I did find out in the dark recesses somewhere, there are 2 or 3 people who are very interested, and one of them quite knowledgeable on these matters. It's a good friend of mine. I usually get together and have a chat with him on Sunday, and with Mark, who was here, Mark Williams from Vegas. So Mark was here. You probably be kept very quiet, didn't say much. He never does. But, yeah, brilliant guy. Yeah, well, I'll talk to him, and he has a blog as well on these topics. I mean, it's absolutely, you and I have spoken about it, the work of Lyle Watson, Dr. Lyle Watson, going back into the 60s. My God, yeah, that dates me. Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting stuff. And I was thinking about Michael actually this afternoon, because I thought, well, I'll go and have a little nap. And as I usually do, put my feet up and just watch TV instead. There was a wonderful program on, and I cannot remember his name. I honestly cannot remember his name. It began with an S. One of the pharaohs, and I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about you, Michael, and how he had the stones put in place. He built 3 pyramids, and the 3rd one where how they smoothed it all down. And I thought, yeah, what Michael knows about it, he must do. I was just fascinated by it. So
Yeah,
that was the end. That was the end of my 20 minutes now.
Yeah, they were originally smooth and reflective, and so as the sun caught them, it would appear to be a ray of sun coming down to Earth.
You're right, because what fascinated me was, and I had never heard this before, it was all 43 degrees. And I thought, I'll have to get together with Michael and explore this further. Why 43 degrees? Because you know me and how my mind works. When rest, got to do it, So, yeah, that kind of boosted it yet again. So, yeah, we'll have to have a session on that.
Not only, I mean, the SAM's position on fraudulent psychics is the SAM's position. I would really like the PIC to also have a little subgroup that talks about all other things paranormal.
Yeah.
Whether that works or not, I have no idea. We haven't gotten it together yet. The SAM is completely changing their social network and their website, from what I understand.
Yes.
So I am patiently hoping that we can do something where people can feel safe to come in, because, frankly, you don't want this going out to everybody.
No. Yeah.
But it's,
Bruce Calver, I think, has begun work on everything, and I gather the new site's going to be about. We have also at the International Assembly created a site. It's like 90% there. I'm backpedaling on it because I don't want to launch it till after Raw is officially inaugurated, because in terms of strategy, it just doesn't make sense. So you guys know me well enough to know that, I'm a lateral thinker and I like strategy. So then it'll make sense for all the members and everybody else. And we're going to feature pretty much everybody on there, everybody's picture, and whoever wants to put contact details can, like an FB. The idea behind that is just purely good marketing. So somebody like Lisa says, let's whatever, and you give me $500, I'll do your gig. And then the guy goes, well, we've actually got this other one for $400 or $350. And she goes, I'm not into bargaining, but check out this site. And that's it. When the booker goes to the site, it's got, whoa, she's a member of the SAM, a member of the International Assembly. Here's her picture. Here's all this stuff coming down. And that's the idea of making every member in every country a valued item for a booker or an agent or a direct client. It's not costing them anything. So that's what I've been working on now for months and months to get it absolutely right. So I run it past Joel, I run it past Rod, and they're just absolutely thrilled with it. They're just going, whoa, this is really cool, great. We've already got, I can't launch it because the piece that Rod's put in is as president. But technically, I cannot do that till after the 24th of July. So we're backpedaling on it. So
will there be a place to play? Will there be a place to pay Lisa's for a car battery so that she's not sitting in the dark all the time?
No.
Oh, okay.
She can get her own flashlights. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, I thought that if I turn it on, I might end up with a flat battery. So
I understood.
Yeah, I was just thinking how wonderful of you to actually be out here in the car park to come and join this and stay all this time, because I was getting a little bit concerned about you. It's all right, I'm not being misogynistic. I'm just getting concerned like I would for my niece or my sister or somebody else, all right? Are you okay in the car park by yourself in the dark?
Oh, yeah, I'm in a really safe area.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
okay.
I've got my doors locked, though.
Don't get upset with me. Yeah.
I was more concerned about the spider coming down on me a little while ago.
That's right. Spiders are cool. Spiders are cool. My people have had a good link with spiders for centuries. It's okay. Spiders are cool. They're okay. I'll tell you what was not cool, and I found out yesterday. wishing Lynetta Welch happy birthday. Now, I don't know if some of you know who she is. You may have heard the name. She makes the best egg bags in the business. The one she made for Johnny Thompson went for $26,000 at the auction, after Johnny's gone, obviously. Anyway, so this is in context. Lynetta's birthday, she also loves growing around vegetables. So I made a fun comment about part of the vegetables, by the way, were just carrots and something else, and eggplants. So I'm like me, full of mischief, and I know Lynetta really well. And I kind of go, yeah, and, don't forget some special bags for the eggplant, which I thought, it's a bit of a witticism. Me, in my ignorance and old age, Luna comes on, she says, my God, is that you? Did you make that comment? I said, yeah, it's me. I made a comment. What's wrong? She said, take it off, take it off. I went, where? What are you talking about? She said, take it off. I said, okay, call me up. I said, okay, Luna, I'll call you up. I said, Luna, what's up? What's up? What's going on? It was an innocuous, fun thing to say. It's not funny for someone else. It's funny because Lynetta is known for egg bag. She said, I can't use that anymore. I said, why not? After about 10 minutes, I get informed that nowadays, shows you how out of friggin' touch I am on text speak, an eggplant refers specifically to a part of the male anatomy, and special bags refer specifically to the part of the male anatomy that hangs under the other part. Luna,
more laughing at how you had to explain it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't going to use words, but anyway, me, I'm a wordsmith. I worry about words. So I said, Luna, well, thank you. I don't know. She said, yeah, because if somebody had read that, they could have just taken that all. I said, no, I'm really honest. I'm grateful to you.
To be honest, Anthony, it only refers to that if you use the emoji.
Does it?
So someone who takes it out of context, because you've referenced an aubergine or an eggplant, is being stupid. To be honest.
Well, well, God, there's enough of those on the planet.
It's the eggplant emoji that has connotations, not the actual eggplant itself.
I just put little laughing things afterwards. This is a couple of buddies, we've been down, hung out together, made drinks at the bar and all that stuff with Louis Nelson. They're just good sister friends, and it was just like happy birthday and blah, whatever. But I'm glad Luna picked it up because I don't know who might have read it. That was her concern, to call me and go, no, look. Take it off, because somebody would kind of misconstrue it. Because she went, I know you, and I know you didn't mean it in a bad way, and known each other for years, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then, just boom. So, whoa, okay. So you learn something every day. I had no idea about that. Yeah, I was telling my wife about this last night, and I said, guess what I've learned today? I said to my wife, and she looked at me and went, what? I said, yeah. Really? She said, that's stupid. I said, yeah, I know it's stupid. I agree with you, but I learned that today.
So just remember, it's only the emoji you should stay clear of.
No, I didn't use any of that. I just kind of
you can talk about eggplants to your heart's content, Anthony. Don't worry about it.
No, just the comment, eggplant and special bags. Just turned out that eggplant was a euphemism, and so was special bags. And I had lots of sort of laughy smileys and silly things. But anyway, there you go. Yeah.
Mark's got his hand up and Stephen's got his hand up.
Oh, okay.
Which one was? I think Stephen was first.
Well, I'm 73 years old. Don't claim to know everything in the world, but here in the U.S., I've never heard of a man's set of ping pong balls, shall we say, referred to as eggplants.
No, it's not the ping pong holders. It's the stuff in front of it. It's the eggplant and the special bag. Okay. And special bags are the other bits that are known as cojones in Spanish.
Okay, so cojones, yeah,
you got that right.
But I've heard of yanker, wiener, etc., but never.
Oh,
refer
yeah,
to
all that
eggplant.
stuff. Yeah.
As I said, Stephen, it's not. You don't call it an eggplant. It's only in text speak using that emoji.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
don't even
that's
know what
the
the emoji
only
looks like.
time that it's referenced and means that.
Okay.
So you can use it. You can say in an email, and you can do what you like in an email or in a chat or talking to people. It's in text speak. That's where it's referenced.
Well, I'll have to look around to see if I can find emoji, because I know I wouldn't know if it was staring in
It's a
front of me.
basic emoji. It's one of the standards.
Okay.
Yeah, the burning question of the day is, how come Kevin Peele knows all this stuff?
Well,
Kevin,
he's an Englishman. He's an Englishman.
Well, I know lots of Englishmen. My grandpa was one of them. They didn't know any of this stuff.
Tommy Burnett told him.
In my industry, it's beholden upon me to know just about as much as anything about communications.
Yeah, true enough. But hey, Mark, yes, sir.
Two things. First off, up until now, I didn't know there was an eggplant emoji. And second off, you have completely ruined eggplant parmesan. Thank you very much.
You think you got problems? How the heck do you think I felt yesterday after Luna told me all this stuff? Yeah, right. No, I made that gag with her because she likes cooking and I love cooking, so I've cooked in her kitchen as well. And I said to Phil, "That's it. You know, this is never going to be the same again, is it? When we do aubergine parmigiani in your kitchen." Just rolled with laughter, you know.
Well, I know one thing. I know one emoji I would never ever use, especially if I'm speaking to a woman. They may end up being offended.
Oh, good grief. I don't know what it is nowadays, you know, man. Before you could have fun, you know, make fun of somebody, do something, and it was all right. Nowadays, everybody's offended about something.
Yeah,
good morning. Really. Good morning. And they go, what? How do you know? What? Good morning.
It's like living in New York. It's like living in New York. If you're not cussed out once a day, you're not considered wanted.
Right. Yeah.
Don't tell me what kind of day I'm supposed to have.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't so funny, that'd be tragic, because it's true.
And to be honest, I'm offended on behalf of Andrew.
You know, the last time I had someone walk up to me and ask me, how's your day? And I said, well, how much time you got?
Yeah.
That works every time.
Yeah, this is great. Are we still recording this? We are. Yeah,
we are. Yes.
My shaker's empty.
Oh my goodness, blackmail material. Excellent.
Absolutely. Emotional blackmail, if you please, yes. Mr. Carlin. Yeah,
I will be re-editing this into a different order to make it worse.
I don't do normal blackmail, only emotional blackmail. Want me to tell you the serial? Want me to tell you the serial number on the 20 in your pocket?
What 20?
No, wait. My grandfather has communicated. You do not have 20. In fact, you have nothing.
There you go.
Well, speak up, Mr. Carlin. You have nothing, right?
In my pocket?
Yeah.
I'm still in my jammies. What are you talking about?
Well, my grandpa was right. See, you have nothing.
Absolutely.
In your pocket.
Right. You don't have no pocket, so you can't have nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm not in tights.
The day will come, Mark.
Yes.
The day will come.
Well, at the moment.
You know what, man? I'll tell you something sincerely from my heart. This is the kind of thing and banter that I miss greatly. There's not many of us left who can do that, you know, and go away feeling great. You just had some fun and you're laughing and, you know, teasing everybody else. And it's, you know, it used to happen so much in the old days. And I'm not, you know, going back that far, you know, 80s. Somehow in the 90s, everything got changed. Everybody was like, what? It's a gig. Come on. It's a gig.
Well, you know, I come from a generation when someone was gay, it meant they was happy. And I have old saying about that. Now I say I used to be gay, but now I'm happy. And a lot of them don't get it, you know.
No, they don't.
No.
You know, it's ridiculous if I'm talking to select my niece or nephews. I mean, not that I do every day, but I turn around and go, "Oh, do you remember when?" And they go, "Uncle T, we weren't even born then." You know, so whoa, yeah, right. But it's fun. You know, you can go back with like Dan Garrett, or you know, he's gone now, Walter Blaney, people like that. You just get together and you have just fun. You know, it's just like silly stuff. You would never do any bad mischief, like mess with the props, or you know, that was like no, that just bad. But other, you know, fun stuff, it was just great. You were there, Kevin, and I think Michael, you were there, and Stephen, I'm sure you were, and George and Andrew. Do you remember when Howard Hamburg told that story? I can't remember where it was. It was either on Kevin's show or on the Darkstone. I don't remember where it was. Howard told the story about how, you know, Slidini did this fun thing with Larry Jennings' jacket. You know, he left it on a chair at the castle. He went to take a pee, and by the time he come back, they rigged something else. So that's good, clean, fun mischief. And that is really it. Nobody does that anymore. You know, people kind of like get, apart from when you go mess with the old guys, or like with Mark just now, right? You know, well, at least you'll never see me in tights. And, you know, just good, fun banter.
Well, nowadays you got to watch everything, even what you say.
Oh yeah.
I mean, can end you up in court of being sued. I mean, we ran across that. You know, in some employment forms, they're not even allowed to have sex anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually answer yes.
Yeah. You were saying that earlier, Stephen, about now you're not allowed to say actress and stuff like that. I remember Duffy Leafer told me off one time, this a few years ago. Something happened and went, you know, the hero. I said, no, it's heroine. And she said, no, I don't want to be referred to as a heroine, hero. I went, okay. And now everything is actor. Well, no, I can't kind of get into my head, you know, Meryl Streep, actor. John Wayne, yeah, I can figure that out. Meryl Streep, actor.
Marion.
But, you know, yeah.
Could you imagine if John Wayne would have actually went on TV and radio and movies with the name Marion?
Yeah, that was his name. Yeah, Marion.
Yeah, that was his real name.
That was his real name.
Marion Montgomery.
Yeah, Marion Montgomery. That's correct, sir.
Yeah.
Going back to ladies in magic, one we haven't mentioned is this lady here called Terry Rogers.
Ah, yes.
Excellent ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Also, very good magician as well, very clever-minded. And it's well known, I'm not talking what's it does. Terry with an I was once spelt Terry with a Y. And Terry Rogers female was once Terry Rogers male, a bus driver from Birmingham.
Well, I had heard that. I wasn't going to say anything because it's none of my business or anybody else's. But
that's excellent ventriloquist. Used to work with a dummy called Shorty Harris.
Didn't someone put a video of her on the SAM International Assembly page recently? I saw a video, I'm sure.
Terry? No.
Recently, somewhere.
I promise you, no.
Maybe it was on the Magic Circle one.
There's
Possibly.
a video of her in, I think it's the BBC archives.
Yeah.
If you look that up, it's like, it's really good.
Pat Page how to do vent.
Yeah.
Someone shared it somewhere recently. I saw it.
Yeah, I saw
the Magic Circle one.
I saw the clip. That's the clip with Pat Page. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Now there's a name to conjure with. I mean, God, I met him I'm 75. I must have been I don't know, well over 50 years ago.
Terry's partner was Val Andrews.
Yep. When Keys, locksmith, I've still got some of his stuff, his lockpicks and things. Great locksmith guy. No, dear Pat. I mean, absolutely fantastic. When they did the article on me back in 20 years ago on the cover of MUM, I insisted they put a picture of him and, you know, a few words about him as well. So they did. Dave Goodsell was the editor, and he was a very cool guy too. And they understood things like that. I mean, dear Pat, like I said, well over 50 years ago, walked into Davenport's when it was opposite the British Museum, if some of you can remember that far back.
Right.
And
Was,
he was,
Al Woodrow there when Pat was there, do you know?
who? Sorry?
Al Woodrow.
I believe so, but you know what? I've never met him. I always used to go there when Pat was there.
Al Woodrow was my proposer for the circle.
He may have been. I don't know. But that's when I didn't know anything. I did. I know magic, but I didn't know who he was. I walked in and he was dumbing. And we just kind of clicked and just became good friends. And he became an extraordinarily wonderful mentor to me. And one of the nicest, most wonderful human beings you could ever hope to meet. And I was thrilled to bits at Blackpool when he got to see my son perform. Even thrilled to bits when we were both on two major gigs in Scotland together with dear Ali. This just wonderful, beautiful memories spent with these lovely people that you could have fun with, and just great. So I'm not name dropping. I've been around. I mean, you guys know how old I am. I just turned 75. But it's just one of those things, man. I just kind of like miss it, because nobody's like having fun anymore. Some of the young people I know and got to know, they're great. And interestingly enough, quite a lot of them are actually, I have to use the word, there's another way of describing it, are ladies, females. They seem to have a more sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? A certain je ne sais quoi, joie de vivre, yes? And that's more kind of like, yeah, great, that we're having fun, whatever. And you say to somebody and they go whatever, they go, no, don't do that, turn your hand the other way. And they go, really? Why? I say, okay, do it, film it, now go watch it. And they go, yeah, I see what you mean. It's that kind of thing. It just sometimes doesn't happen, or like we've had quite often with dear Michael. Great chats on wonderful esoteric things, from pyramids, and we have fun with each other. Like you make a post on something and we go back, and what was the last one I did? Felines of Ulvar. Yes. And then put a little thing, I know supposed to be cats.
Yes, my slime purchases.
Yeah, and I thought, Michael will get it because he's funny. He'll get it. He knows the work of Lovecraft, HP. It's funnier.
He's going to be shortage of green slime in the UK then, because it's all been shipped over to the Isle of Man.
Yes.
Well, people who know me and have seen videos rather than just over Zoom know that I do like to get messy sometimes.
I've seen a routine with a bucket.
There are stages that dread me coming because of the mopping up afterwards.
Yes, I've seen you dive into buckets from a height. I always remember Dan Garrett actually saying to me, he actually did that, and I think he even posted it at some stage. I'm not sure, but he said to me, "Who is this guy?" And I said, "I don't really know how to describe him, to be honest." He said, someone who does this kind of magic, wears a red nose, and then jumps into a bucket or dives into a bucket. He thought it was friggin' hilarious, and it is. It is. A big compliment from somebody like dear Dan. Just wow. Like silly stuff. Yeah, I mean, he and I have done so many gags on people over the years. Like at the IBM, he had this T-shirt with the periodic tables. Yeah, it's silly, but it's funny because I only wear this T-shirt periodically. It's really stupid funny, but it's funny. And I maintain nowadays, you've got to be silly because it's the only way to stay sane.
Certainly is.
I tend to have quite a lot of fun, generally more than my audience is.
well, yeah, but you're the one who put the eggplant down in the chat. Thank you very much.
I was just I was just for visual reference.
He done that for me. He done that for me.
That was just for vision. Well, I mean, Kevin Peele's probably seen me with my clothes off more than he's seen them with them on.
Unfortunately.
Yes, regrettably.
Oh my gosh, what's going on here?
Well, you've seen it, Stephen. Regrettably, a couple of us have.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny. Lisa's looking at us going, "Oh my Lord, what have I got involved with?" No,
I wish I was in the dark now.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not us. It's George. George does. I would just call it a routine rather than an act. Yes. And I'm not spoiling it for George. You have to see it, and you will. I'm not spoiling it. Where the reveal is, where shall we just say, he goes, and it's the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, I love that.
Fair description, George, without
Yeah.
revealing anything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's the mildest one, Anthony.
I would say that's
It really is.
yeah. I've been working on that. How long have I been working on that trick now, Kev? Like 2.5 years, probably. That routine.
Yes, and I'm not sure whether the magic circle's actually ready for this, George.
Which reminds me, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Pineapples.
When's your exam?
Yeah, I've got them.
Good. I know you have. I've been told. Yes, yes. You like them? They're good, aren't they?
They're so good.
I know.
Yeah, they're so nice. Kat, have you met Kat? She's been on in a couple of shows.
Well, I've sort of met her over Zoom. Yeah.
She does like 3D printing with pens. So she's going to try and make me some coconuts so they'll be a bit more long lasting at the moment.
In case you're wondering what on earth we're jabbering
Not anymore.
we
Not
won't
anymore.
reveal-
I got it.
we won't reveal too much.
Thank God.
But no, it's just here amongst us. In fact, I'm sort of doing a little bit of mentoring for George, and for his exam, he's going to do one of the things he's going to do is the cups and balls, which he's very good at. So I said, well, why don't we do it differently with coconuts instead of the cups? And he loved the idea. And then I said, well, let's use pineapples. Whoa, let's do that. So we got in touch with Alexander May.
Should I show them the pineapples that he made me?
Yeah, I think they'd love to see it. It makes the most incredible things with sponge. If you want something, he's in South Africa. He's a member of our assembly, Alexander. He's been on gala shows and everything.
Oh, good, because that's not where I went.
Amazing things in sponge. I mean, on the last gala show he performed, look at that. These are George's for the magic circle. Show them the receptacle you've had all your life as well. George, are you in your own home at the moment? Yeah.
Wake him up. It was,
There you go. So it's all going to be pineapple themed. And I even got you to get your shirt, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've got
he's got a pineapple themed shirt.
Right on.
So
and my ukulele.
And your ukulele. So it's all going to be pineapple stroke Hawaii type thing, but using what could be termed standard effects, but presenting them in a whole different way to suit him and his personality. And the shirt is a Hawaiian shirt. It's just got pineapples all over it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the visual for George. And then, you realize he paints his nails, and then he's got all the other things to do with pineapples. And the prop box is going to be 2 pizza boxes. Don't see, I'm a great believer in don't spend tons of money on props. 2 pizza boxes after he eats the pizzas. You cut the cap off one of them, the top, and then glue it on top. So it's like a deep box, and everything fits in that. So when he comes on with his ukulele and a pizza box, like he's just delivering a pizza. When you open it, his coconut shells come out of there, and then the pineapples happen with the cups and balls, and something else happens, and something else, and then the ukulele and something else, and the ukulele thing, he nearly fell over when I told you what the idea was. He said, well, how am I going to build it? I said, no, you don't. This is how you do it. He went, what? I said, yeah. He went, oh, God, this is so cool. I went, okay. Nobody's ever done it. We took a standard effect and just varied it completely.
Yeah, and Kat's working on the other props as well at
Good.
the moment.
All he will say is that George is going to do a card stab, no sword, just ukulele. Not cost him anything. He's had a ukulele all the time, and he plays it.
Yep.
Yeah. Can I say a little bit about you, Isabel, or not?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A couple of things we're working on. And she said, what about this? What about that? And we went through everything and then went, okay, this. And she goes, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And I said, let's take this part of the personality and there it is. Can we say who your audience is?
Yes.
Am I allowed? Okay.
Yeah.
I referred to them early in the conversation as a special group of people. Actually, she's been booked by an LBGT organization. So the audience is going to be made up of LBGT people. Yes. And we were playing with this, and I said to her, you're superb with the professor's nightmare, but wouldn't it be cool if you painted your ropes with rainbow colors? Because for this audience, they'd get it immediately. You brought them out, it'll click with them. So you loved that, didn't you? And then you went, yeah. It's the same effect, but it's just different. And never ever refer to it as the professor's nightmare because they don't know what that is. Right? You just bring it down. I've got a little script going. Excuse me. It's all in French, by the way, but still, we do the little script in French, and then we've got a couple of other little bits and pieces that we have, which you got quite excited about. Yeah, quite excited.
If there's one thing Anthony's good at is ideas, man.
Well, it's what a mentor does. And
it's not taking anything I wouldn't normally do. You see me do the cups and balls before. You said that was good. It was worth putting into my act. And then it's just thinking about how to make it.
George's cups and balls.
Yeah. That's what you're really good at.
Isabel's professor's nightmare. So that's what they remember, right? They remember that. What was her name? Yeah, it's like my opening act. Some of you have seen it. We saw it in Kevin's show. We put a little couple of minute video on. My spoon bend. Yeah, people just kind of like, whoa, there was a guy. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, but did you see the way he did that? Nobody does a spoon bend that way. I used to do it before with, whoa, in your hand, put the spoon in your hand and all this nonsense. Then one day I thought, why would I want to do that? It's not going to work on friggin' stage. It really isn't. I was forced into that in Corvallis in Oregon. Michael, a different Michael, not any of the Michaels you know here, who was, tour guy and managing everything for me. He said, no, they want that, and you've got to do it. And okay, well, where's the theater? And this is it. And they sent all the stuff over. My son did. I don't understand any of it. I don't understand it at all. They worked out all the stuff and sent it to them. So when I got there, they fed it into the machine, and it was all the lighting that was needed. You didn't have to really spend more than 1 minute on the tech for the light, because he'd worked out, because he knows all this stuff. He's got a degree in it, and he kind of worked out, what happens, fade to this and this kind of light and soft something and different light bulbs that you use. I don't know anything about it. No, I stick with what I know. Anyway, when I got there, they did that, and they said, "No, you've got to do it." And I'm like, "Geez, there's 3,000 freaking people in here with, thousands of them up on the top. And I've got to do this." And I said, "I've got to figure out a way. Can't get somebody up there and go, here, here's a spoon that's going to bend in your hand. Well, what if I did it myself?" And then I spoke to a very good pal of mine, Mark Bentheimer. We got chatting, and he said, "What about this?" And I said, doesn't work. I thought about it, and then went, doesn't work. And that's how that came about. And it just, it's just one of those things. And the other one, which is a throwaway gag, if I got it here, I've still got it here from when I did it on Tommy's show. Yeah. And go, well, I spoiled my drink. And I won't. Do you want to see it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Did this on Tommy's show, right? Whirl it round in my martini. Oh, sorry. Just for a second. I'm not misdirecting anybody. I've got to just put the glass down, right? Oh, here we go. Tommy liked it on Zoom.
Oh.
Put a bit of water in.
Oh, just to prove I can drink this stuff. Now wait till you see my Viking acid tests. That's where we have some real fun. No, you guys haven't seen that. You have, haven't you, Isabel?
Awesome.
Is it good or what? Yeah, yeah. Pure theatrics, pure theater. I took a simple concept and just made it all into a whole Viking thing, like Hail Thor, Hail Freya, and you know, what's going on? That's in the main Darkstone character. That's fun. You enjoy it, like you say. Like Jones was saying, you know, sometimes you have more fun than the audience, and it's contagious because they feel that, yeah. Because you're saying to them, look, 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 I love this. Look, 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 come and love it with me. I call it sharing a box of chocolates. You cannot have an unhappy person if you're sitting there with a box of chocolates and offering it around to somebody. Everybody's taking a chocolate out of it and everybody's happy when you do that. That's what I call it. That's what I call it. Yeah. A box of chocolates. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. And I love doing that, actually. I love chatting with people and batting. You know, I'm not a teacher. I don't kind of, yeah, this is what you do and this is how you do it. And I don't want to know. I'm not interested. There's a ton of them out there charging, you know, masses of stuff. Yeah. How much have I charged you, George?
Nothing.
How much have I charged you, Isabel?
0.
Yeah. No, I
He
walked
says
the talk.
both of your bills to me. I don't know why. I just
Oh, I walk the talk, man. You got to give back. I mean, you know, my son and I have had so much magic and so many wonderful people, you know, giving. You just got to give back. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to make it till next week or next month or next year. You know, I have a pretty good run. So if I can, you know, just give back, make people feel a little bit happy, and you know what, it does me good. It keeps me young. It does my soul good. And yeah, sometimes, as we've all experienced in life, you get people who misunderstand your motives. That happens. It hurts for 5 minutes. And after that, I think, you know what? It doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about it. I know what's going to happen when, you know, Michael talks to his pals and they bring the white feather out and put it in the balance. I already know. You know what I'm talking about or not? No. Yeah, some of you do. Some of you do.
To me.
Yeah.
You've been, but like I say, you've been nothing but kind and helpful to me. Any questions I've had, you've always been there to answer.
Well, thank you. You know, the world is crazy enough anyway. Why add to it?
Well, that's what a good mentor does. A good mentor is a relationship that's developed. It's far beyond you know, teacher-student relationship, because that's an exchange. My mentor, a gentleman by the name of Andy Dallas.
Oh yeah, right, absolutely.
To me, if I've got a question about something, he's the person I would go to first. And also, when I'm in his town, I can call him up and say, hey, let's go do lunch. Let's do this, do that. And it's that kind of relationship that a mentor is. And so when I see people who talk about a student-teacher relationship as a mentorship, I'm not sure they actually know what they're talking about. And I don't get into it. I just like, I'm not sure you think, you know, it may be a big name. It may be, you know, like McBride or somebody like that. And I'm not despair. I mean, I'm a student of McBride's, but Andy's my mentor.
Right.
You know, and so, but that's, as a matter of fact, he called me up, knock on wood. He's doing 3 lectures and he goes, hey, you want to come along? And I said, my bag's packed. We're going. I'll drive. And so,
in case some of you folks don't know the name Andy Dallas, let me quickly add, one of the great magicians of our time, former president of the Society of American Magicians, an extraordinarily knowledgeable man on many matters to do with paranormal psychology and other allied aspects. Would that be a fair short description, Mark?
That would be a fair short description. If I can add, he was probably one of the 5 premier escape artists in his
Yes.
time.
Yes.
And owned a magic shop and gave so much of his time to everybody who walked into that shop. And the fact that he's going out on tour, at least doing a couple of lectures again, he wants to do more. So, and
You
he'll
think
teach
we can persuade him to do one on Zoom for us?
Andy doesn't know how to use his phone.
Okay. Yeah, bring him over to your house. Bring him over to your house.
To
And we'll do
my
it.
house.
Yeah. Yeah, bring him over to you. Or find it someplace. Well, we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it would be it would be a wonderful lecture. It will be a wonderful lecture.
Yeah. I'm sure you'd probably have a lot of fun with it and go to my first Zoom lecture. We had a guy on, and he's now a member of our assembly, elusive Leon Cohen, and a lot of you guys have welcomed him because I put a welcome post up for him. It was his first time on Zoom, I think on Kevin's show, if I'm not mistaken.
Tommy's show first.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And he did this thing from David Roth, but had his own kind of little nuance to it and script. And then later confessed it was his first Zoom show and he was absolutely nervous and he hadn't picked up anything in 23 years. And I went, damn, imagine what you'd be like if you weren't nervous. But he was just absolutely brilliant. So you just never know with folks sometimes. You just go on and then boom, they just click, as it were, Yeah, something to look forward to. It might come up. Michael.
Here we go. It's waiting for you a week tomorrow. I'll make sure you get the Zoom link.
Mr. Kelly, I'm not coming anywhere near you unless I have a newborn maiden first. Take it out. My heart, not the I was going to call it an aubergine. Yeah, not the eggplant. Yeah, it's called an aubergine.
Yes, don't go near the eggplant.
No, don't go near the eggplant. No. I think I made a quip about that to you, didn't I? Yeah, Tommy liked it. Yeah, you can have many newborn maidens now. Don't wait till yeah, geez, I'm 75. Forget it. I can make jokes like that and get away with it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I take it most of you have got the context of what Michael just showed us. Yes.
Yes, I agree.
What is it called? Dahat is a place, isn't it? Dat is the place.
Yeah, this was the weighing of the heart in the judgment of all of the gods when Anubis would present the deceased and their deeds would be weighed against a feather.
Yes.
And,
a white feather.
I think
Thoth would be there to record the result, and if their sins were lighter than a feather, they'd be allowed to enter the next world. If they were heavier, they would be fed to a crocodilian monster. So,
I don't want
written on a brick.
Yeah, I don't want any of that, Michael. I'm going to go to Valhalla. They have mead and food every night.
They do, yes. Valhalla has a lot to be said for it.
Don't you have to die in battle to go to Valhalla?
Oh, I qualify more than once. I assure you. And they got shield maidens. God, there's a sexist remark. Right, come on. I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I mean, grew up in the 60s and 70s. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, it's not sexist. I just like women. What's wrong with that? I'm married to one. My mother was one. So was my grandmother. Yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness. Come on. I think you all know where I stand on the topic. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think you're a remarkable woman, Lisa. A, for showing up. B, for putting up with all the fun and banter. You've noticed how we all changed after the sort of main thing was over. And that's what it's all about. Welcome to the International Assembly. get me your picture and words, please. I want to put up your post fairly quickly so everybody can welcome you. All right. And yeah, thank you for coming along, and thank you for raising this topic. It's not something I would have done if not for the fact that you brought it up. I looked at it, approached you and said, what do you think? And you went, yeah, great. And that's how we all help each other, I guess.
I really appreciate you doing it, actually, because
Oh, not
I've
at all.
got
You're
loads
welcome.
of notes, so it's been really,
Welcome.
really good.
Now you got to know everybody, and you will now that you're on the assembly as well. Get in touch with folks, and if you want to pick up something, Kevin has got the recording, so probably that'll be a memory jogger for you, I guess. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the best way to handle this recording, was it's extremely long, is for me to upload it onto a private link, and you can decide who gets that link.
Yeah. What I might do, Kev, after you've done with it, that link, I will get it to Mark in Vegas. I mean, a lot of you saw him here. He didn't actually say very much, but some of you know him. I mean, my director, dear brother from a different mother, Mark's in Vegas. Anybody in Vegas knows who Mark is. He just keeps himself very low key. And ask him if he can do one of his usual wonderful editing jobs.
Well, yes, but obviously he's going to have to watch all 4 hours of it to be able to edit it.
Yeah, Mark will do that.
He's happy with that.
Oh yeah, Mark will do that. Mark will do that. He'll do that. He's just such a great friend. And nobody gets paid for anything, as you know. Neither does he. And he's done what, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of PR for the SAM. All the gala shows, all the Darkstone dossiers. He edits all of those. And go to other times. Tell you what a great guy he is. He goes directly to the artist. I think he may have even done that with you, Michael, if I'm not mistaken. And says, okay, let's take that footage and put not just the recording. He's a brilliant editor who is a magician. And seriously, I'm not just saying this. Anybody who's anybody in Vegas just, knows Mark. And he doesn't perform or anything. He just, that's it. He does a few things for what you would call a senior home. Yeah, what do you call that in England? Old people's home, nursing home. Yeah, senior home. So
Senior home.
Senior home. He goes there and he does something, and he creates things just so that some of them are, visually impaired. So he'll do something that everybody can see. He's an incredibly nice man. I mean, we used to get together most Sundays and chit chat with a couple other guys in Magic and, share stuff around.
Well, let me tell you this about seniors' homes, because my wife worked for Feasers Nursing Home as the activity director. And she says, Steve, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, I want you to do the other. So I bring my props, and after I done it the first time, just a simple card trick, a regular card tricks, you don't use one like this, you use one like this.
Yeah.
And almost all my stuff that I use in seniors' homes, instead of being this size, is this size. And then you still get someone to say, well, could you hold it a little closer? You're doing a magic trick. You really can't hold it closer. So it's a whole different atmosphere.
I love doing them.
Everything's got to be explained, even the most simplest things. Some of the people don't even know what planet they're on.
Yeah, I love doing them. And for some of them, even the ones who can't follow along very well, it's the fact they're seeing a new face. It's something,
right. It just makes
something
it so
new, isn't a
happy
day.
that you're there. Yeah.
And you're always asked to stay afterwards for a tea.
Oh yeah.
The stories you hear, it's gold.
And you'll be in the middle of doing a bit, and someone will walk up to you and say, "Are you my grandson? Did you come to visit me?" And you can't help it, and almost every senior center I do, I charge absolutely nothing, because I'm putting a little bit of delight in their life and making them happy. I've never charged a senior center, period.
Well, I think if the truth be told, people like Michael and yourself, I mean, I've never done one, and yourself,
you need to
more than likely get more out of it than you're giving them.
Right.
But
But
they-
it used to be expensive when everything's got to be completely redone for them. I mean, it costs money to have the stuff reprinted and that large. Yeah.
I did one which it couldn't really be classified as a senior home because most of the people were just around kind of like 50, 60, and most of it was visually impaired. Yeah, they were not elderly, if you know what I mean. Not like Batten and yours and my age range, Stephen, or later.
Well, what do you mean? I'm only 37.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? We can't do that gag when we get to 77.
Right. You got that.
So, and I don't know. The story started in the bar, and we're chatting about it. And dear Celeste Evans, who I mentioned earlier on, blessings for her memory. She decided she put it in her book on the story. It was people with guide dogs, and I'm trying to do big, colorful stuff, and the balloon got away. And the dog sitting on the front, because it was all kind of same level, no stage or anything, right? Same level, almost like parlor magic, but no tiered seating or anything. And the dog just went and got it, didn't burst it.
Oh.
He just held it by the string and sat there with it. I think he was given the command to sit. I don't know. I don't remember that. I remember just thinking, okay, that's it. I can't do anything else after that. I mean, and everybody just thought it was part of the deal. I mean, it wasn't.
You were outdone by a canine.
Oh, yeah, but I love dogs and horses, man. So that's all right, you know? Yeah, that was all right. Yeah, so just silly and chat about it. And Celeste said, I want to put that in the book. And I went, okay, you can do that. So we did. We wrote it up as an article and everything else. But yeah, it's amazing how these things kind of happen. It just total. I stopped. That was it. There was nothing else left to do. Everything else I'd planned, I kind of left it and started talking and, what's the dog's name and blah, 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 and it worked okay. Yeah. It worked out there. Yeah.
Apologize, but I am going to leave. Now, you folks are on London time. I have no idea what
10 minutes to
time
midnight.
you're actually
10 minutes to midnight.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, see? People love
this
stuff.
is the fun stuff. This is the stuff I miss.
Me too.
It's the stuff after the presentation that's just the coolest and you learn the most.
You've been at the Darkstone, Dusty. You saw what happens.
No. Well, it's that way. It should be that way at conventions too. What the heck was all right?
It sounded like a hawk.
It was a crow.
With a sore throat.
I'll take that as my cue to leave. Thank you.
Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Take care.
The crow has summoned you. Go.
Bye.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for dropping by.
It's funny you talk about senior homes.
Are you sure that wasn't a raven?
No, definitely a crow.
Even more, was it a raven?
It's funny you talk about senior homes because I haven't said this to you yet, Anthony, but I thought there's at least 3 or 4 within 5 minutes walking distance from where I live. So I was thinking once my actual routine's kind of ready to test out, that I'd go and offer to try a few of these places around here as a place to just offer to have a practice of it.
Very good idea.
Once it gets to that, once we get there, sort of thing.
You have to go through the activity director and they have to schedule it.
Yeah, I'll just, they're all like 5 minutes from me. So I'll just knock on the door one day and just offer and book in some dates with them then.
Yeah.
I thought
George,
good.
You're part of equity,
George,
right,
can I just ask you a big favor here, George? Please don't do it for free because there are magicians out there that make a living from care home magic.
Okay.
They charge about £50, which is not an awful lot of money. The care homes are prepared to pay that. So don't go and practice for free, because you'd actually be doing local magicians in your area who specialize in care home work out of jobs.
Okay.
That's like me. I only do it at the one where my wife
Yeah.
works. Period. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Croucher, for example, who you know,
Yeah.
that's his mainstay of his business. He gets 2 or 3 care home, you know, one or two a day is how he makes his living.
That's a very good point that Kevin raised. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good point. Yeah.
I'll admit I don't charge, but there's nobody else over here who does them. So
Yeah.
It's okay then.
See, these homes, they have what's called an activity budget, and they have to budget literally every cent. And like for them to have me, you know, and have to pay for it, it simply wouldn't be in their budget at all.
Hmm.
And
surprised how tight those budgets are. I mean, they want to know where every penny is. Right.
Well, you know, like Michael was saying, if you're not taking the livelihood away to the best of your knowledge from someone else.
Oh, I never do that.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm just, you know, kind of saying what Michael said. That's fair enough. You're offering a gesture of kindness, shall we say. However, Kevin makes a very, very valid point.
Absolutely.
Because where George is in England and how, you know, the culture works over there, if somebody is making a living from that, then yeah, I mean, you know, obviously you go in and say, look, I'm putting a new act together. I'd like to do this for you. Can I come and do it? And, you know, pay me a token fee, whatever the token fee is. If they turn around and say, well, we can't give you more than £100, you go, well, that's okay, right? I don't think you should say, or they may well say, well, what's your token fee? You say, well, I don't know, anywhere between £50 and £100 and see what they say. Right? That's another thing we do about fees, you know, how people go about fees. If anyone's interested down the line, that's something I like to put together. How you go for fees and things like that. Usually the conventional wisdom is, oh, see how much people are charging in your area. What? Why? What difference does it make?
So you are what you think you're worth, aren't you?
Yes, and have to prove it, because if someone's walking into a car showroom and they want to hire the latest Telsa or a Bentley, then obviously it's going to cost a lot more. That's it. It's that simple. Not that I'm going to be doing a lot of it, and I haven't for obvious reasons the last couple of years, but my attitude is, look, you know, I'd rather do 3 or 4 gigs at X thousand than scurry around like an idiot with 30 gigs at X hundred or whatever, you know. It's so much better. And it depends where you are and what your market is as well, and what you're doing. My son and I know back in the day, we made a ton of money out of corporate work. Ton of money.
Yeah. Well, as you're probably aware, Anthony, with corporate work, if you charge too little, then you won't get the job.
Correct. Correct. And there's a way of getting to the fee, which and avoiding an answer to, well, how much will you charge? I never ever name a figure. I go through a psychological process till I get to a figure. One time I did that, which was, you know, my son and I, because we used to kind of like have a show together and then have the dancers and whatever. I just thought, I don't really want this friggin' gig. I really don't. But I had to go meet with the guy because somebody else who I knew that was a good client that had booked me quite a lot had recommended me. So, well, I better go in there. And he said, well, how much do you want for this? And I gave him a figure. Thinking, right, this is my excuse to get out of this gig and save face with the standard client. Yes, that's the same story. You've heard it before. The guy goes, okay, what? Yeah. I said, well, of course, you know, it's going to be transport for me and my son and my dancers. My son and I can have the same room, but my dancers are going to have a separate room. And this is what we want. You went, okay. My son goes, how'd it go, Dad? And I said, terrible. He said, oh, we didn't get it then. I said, no, we got it. That's what's terrible about it.
A friend of mine who's a wedding magician had a very similar experience. He got offered a wedding that he didn't want to do, so he just quoted twice his normal price, and they just said fine.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. I told that story earlier on with the damn key on the TV thing. Well, Isabel, as you say, you saw it. I mean, I wanted to do it. It was a nice fee. I mean, obviously I was going to do it. But they wanted whole kinds of things with, spoons and forks. And I thought, oh, shit, I can't really do this. It's not going to work on TV. And the guy in charge was nice and everything. But I'm not being rude, but I actually knew more about TV and how it works than he did. And I thought, no, I'm not doing this. And that's when I suggested this to him. And he went, yeah, great. Okay. He goes, I can't pay you any more money. I said, no, that's fine. I'm saying money. Yeah. Silly.
All interested in what Isabel's doing. She's looking very concentrated.
I know what Isabel. I know what Isabel is doing.
She's working on a magic trick. I can tell.
Yeah, props and stuff. I have lots of work to do because I'm missing 1 full week of work because of FISM, so I won't have time to. So now I'm a little bit rushed.
Yeah, hurry up.
But it's going well. It's going well.
hurry up and finish. Hurry up and finish. Yep.
Yeah.
Before FISM.
Yeah, I'm leaving next Sunday, so
I know you are.
Friday, Sunday.
We got to connect up and have a quick look at a couple of things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Needs more green slime, Isabel.
I do, right? That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, the green slime is. I need more.
Yes, Michelle is there. Yeah.
Yes.
Great job on the photographs, Michelle. Wonderful. Great
Il dit
job.
que c'était très bon travail sur les photos.
Ah oui, d'accord.
He says thank you.
I know. I heard him. Yeah, très bon travail.
Isabella, what do they call a Frenchman in America?
Frenchman in America?
Yeah.
Français, mais pas vraiment français, non, parce que français.
Lost.
Ah. Great. Didn't get that. Okay, well, it's dinner time for me,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Yeah,
Good night from all of us, I think.
Indeed. Yeah, didn't quite apply in New Orleans, Steve.
Hey, my wife's mother is from New Orleans.
There you go. I knew there was something good about you.
You know what you
One
never
thing.
find in New Orleans?
What's
a
that?
grave underground. You'll never find a grave underground in New Orleans. They can't do it.
Dude, you can find anything you want in New Orleans.
Sometimes you find stuff you don't want in New Orleans.
Yeah, that also is true.
Don't ever believe the old myth that you can go there. A woman can go there showing her top. They'll go straight to jail. They don't fool around.
Except if it's in Mardi Gras.
No, they'll go straight to jail during
Oh,
Mardi Gras.
they changed all that? Oh, my goodness.
All
I
that's
didn't-
been changed. And do you know where the second largest Mardi Gras parade is in the world?
No.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, come on. Really?
No, look it up. Look it up.
Oh.
We have the second largest outside of New Orleans. Look it up.
Hey, I'm gonna go, guys.
Yeah, I think probably as Kevin said,
Sure.
this is
I'm sure, me and
this is
me.
a good time. Yeah. Thank you
Talking to
all.
you soon. Bye-bye. Bye,
Thanks for
everybody.
the repartee. Isabel, take care, okay?
Thanks, Kevin and Anthony, as well.